All right, welcome to Season 2.
Season 2, Episode 12. Starting off our hockey side of this beer league, which officially is called beer league, because where does it always end up at? Beer league.
In the end.
In the end. Oh, yeah.
If they have enough fun.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll keep doing it.
They'll play B. No, don't play B League. B League's those guys are just messes. They still think they got something, and they're trying really hard. You know, if you make A, great, congratulations, but upper C. But if you become a B leaguer, I may say you're a Richard after a while because you keep pushing it. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I remember one time we'll try to get one guest on the show here. He told me, he goes, we're playing B League, and all of a sudden he goes, this guy just came up to me and says, hey, you want to go? I said, go where? I got to work tomorrow. He goes, what are you doing? He goes, you want to go drop the glove? He goes, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to do anything. I just want to play hockey. Leave me alone. But that's what the B League is around here. Well, first things there.
They got something to prove.
They do, because they still think there's scouts in the stands here on the B League here. Well, welcome again to Episode 12, Season 2, the hockey episode season here. We have a special guest here, Shawn Murray. Let's give a round of applause. There he is, Shawn Murray. There it is. Look at that. There he is, Shawn Murray. Shawn Murray is a hockey coach for an organization here, and he's a very great hockey coach. He's fun. People love him. And I do want to just commend you, because anybody that's ever had you as a coach, the parents will always say, boy, that Murray guy, he really cares about the kids. And as a former baseball coach, because I am retired, a former baseball coach, that's something that you always want to hear, that he cares about the kids and makes it fun. So I applaud you again for that, and that is awesome, man. And, again, welcome to the show, Shawn.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, this is what it's about. Me and Greg, we had a couple episodes, and now we're going to start getting some hockey people in here, and Shawn is definitely a hockey person. Shawn, let's talk about yourself here. I mean, this is your time right now to talk about how you got to this point here in Nashville, where you're from, what's your background, and there you go. Not putting you on the spot or nothing like that.
Nothing.
Nothing. There you go, buddy.
Oh, let's see. From the Chicagoland area. It's funny. Everyone who's from Illinois says Chicago. Burbia. Full transparency. A little Burbia action. I started hockey at a later age. My best friend in high school was a hockey kid, and it was kind of an anomaly to me. But he. It started in his driveway. Actually, he was in this era where he wanted to put the Milik pads on outdoor and just have me shoot pucks at him. And we had to paint that garage quite a few times. His father.
You see over there, I put some cardboard boxes up to try to save the paint. It's not really making a difference.
No, I was definitely not able to keep it in a general area for a while, but that eventually became, and I grew up on rollerblades as well, so, early 20s, started playing men's league, but when I started having kids, and the idea of them playing hockey that just made sense to me, because it was a big part of what I did and what I enjoyed. My father and I would go to, I think we actually went to the last game at the Chicago Stadium.
Oh, nice.
And actually had on the glass behind Belfour, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was, 2 times.
All right.
I really, I think, found my true passion for the sport at the ripe age of 35.
Wow.
When I decided to start coaching. And I think one of the first aha moments for me as a coach was way before I was coaching. And my son, Ian, who's going to be 17 in September, we were doing this learn to skate deal at one of the local rinks in West Dundee in Illinois. They had this little studio rink, and it honestly was probably not much longer than the width of this garage right here. And the practices, they were only like maybe 30, 35 minutes long, not a long time. But at the end, the last 5 minutes, the coach had this big bin of Rubbermaid, it was a Rubbermaid bin with a bunch of different balls and tennis balls, Frisbees, and he dumped the stuff out, and the kids that were on the walkers, all of a sudden they're like, nope, don't want that anymore. And they forgot they don't know how to skate. They forgot that they're nervous. And I'm like, I looked at my wife, I go, they should do that at the beginning of this practice, right? Like they should get them comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's actually become one of my things with the kids is like, if I'm not challenging you, if you're not challenging yourself and you're not becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable and trying new things and being creative on the ice, then I'm not succeeding, right? And so it was a first aha moment. And, here we are, I think 11-ish years later, and I truly do enjoy it, and I definitely do want the kids to have fun. My goal is always 100% retention at the end of the year. I want the kids to want more and not have the season end. So
beautiful. I like that. I know of always one thing that I've always said is I want the kid to sign up next year.
100%.
So if you're successful as a coach, regardless, you win, lose, or draw, who cares?
Right.
It's about them loving the game of hockey or football or baseball or basketball, whatever. You want to bring them back. That's really – and so how long have you been in Nashville?
4 years.
4 years,
Yes.
Okay. So what brought you here? Just say, hey, I'm done with Chicago. I'm here at the Winters.
It's not anything exciting. COVID came and impacted our lives. I've been in the automotive industry for 20-plus years on the marketing side. And, I was around in 2008 when, the government bailouts with Chrysler and GM, and everyone was sucking wind back then. It was awful, right? The marketers, the car dealers, everyone, right? You going to COVID, and the first part of COVID was, no one's going to stores, right? Things started loosening up a little bit towards the fourth quarter of that first year of COVID. And I remember earlier on, actually probably mid-year, I said something to my wife, Erica. I'm like, if I'm going to stay in this industry, in this space, I need to be I should be in my territory. And I had Nashville, so basically Tennessee, and the way I kind of scripted this is I was 5 minutes to 5 hours in any direction I'm seeing clients or prospects, because from 20 years ago when I first started the company that I originally worked at, I had Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama for a territory. And quite honestly, it was
a little further than 5 hours.
It was a grind. Yeah, it was a little bit, right? But we would travel quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And especially earlier on, I started in 2006, didn't have my first child until 2008. So that first 2 years, especially right before, the economy took a crap,
yeah.
I was traveling quite a bit. And then it felt like it was even more so come 2008. By 2011, we're humming again, though. So, but then you fast forward and COVID hits. And I remember we were actually getting on a plane to go to Vegas in February. And I remember COVID was a thing already. Like everyone's talking, we're literally having this conversation with the guys. I'm like, should we be on this plane right now? Exactly. Right? And so we came back, and by the way, my wife was with us, and she was not feeling well when we got on. She might have actually been, no.
And that's all right. Listen, that's fine. Yeah.
No, but we came back, and then it was, that was early February. We came back, and March is when everything shut down. And, being in Chicago, everything, literally, I remember driving around, and it was like tumbleweeds. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, we were stuck in, not stuck during that time when, like you said, that era. We were going on vacation to Disney.
Oh, God.
And I was doing the same exact thing.
Oh,
it
really?
was like March 16th, 2020. And it was like, they said Disney hasn't closed down for anything. 9/11, nothing. They stay open. I'm like, they better close down right now because I'm going to get stuck there.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is. We were at the beach club, right? All this stuff happens, and they're like, things were starting to close down. And then that Friday, because we were there for like a couple days, and they go, well, we're shutting everything down on Friday. You can stay, but nothing's going to be open. And hey, if we have neighbors, you already know, you already got yelled at because we didn't care. My wife was a massage therapist. I was licking doors. I didn't care. Give it to me, But anyway, so that's what, that's a whole nother game. But go ahead, keep going, man.
Yeah, no, so we I had the conversation with her. I'm like, I really feel like I'm going to need to be client facing after this, all settles, right? And, again, that fourth quarter things started picking up again. But what we didn't know was, everyone started talking about the chips, right? And the microchips, that there was a shortage of supply chain issues. And so we got to a point where, and it was, to add insult to injury, the car dealers were thriving. Right, that first full year after that first year of COVID, they were having record months with the amount of that they were selling these vehicles. I mean, I've never seen cars sell for over MSRP in 20 years that we've been doing this in my entire life. You know, I was used to paying 0% financing on everything. And like even now, 0% financing is an anomaly, right? You know, I think there's a couple, like Nissan's got a couple of cars that are 0 for 60, but other than that, you're not really seeing too much yet.
No.
So, no. But yeah, so we did the thing that everyone, you know, from up north does. You know, they come down here and invade. You know, I don't think is anyone on our team actually from Tennessee?
I don't think so. I don't think is anyone on your team? Oh, no, I don't think so. No, I'm going through the list right now in my head. I'm like, no. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh,
yeah,
man.
so we did this. We did that, and here we are.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, I got a little cough. My wife gets mad at me when she goes, "I'm so sick of you coughing on the damn." I said, "You know what? I got a little cough. I cleared
4 months it's been going.
4 months. You know what they call that? Maybe I got COVID again." Well, I you know what? I'm gonna break a little bit here too, off script. Well, today I apologize to both you guys. Reason why I apologize because I'm a little late. Reason why I'm a little late is because I was filming a movie at my house again with the Welkers doing another one. So I screwed up pretty bad yesterday. So the other night, Mr. Welker in LA, if you listen to this, I'm sorry. So he's at my house the other day. We're all hanging out, and he goes, "Oh yeah, well, you know, because they got to film the fifth movie, and he got to get everybody in the whole neighborhood together just for one scene that we always do." And we're like, "Yeah, Monday's great, yeah, whatever." I don't even remember. I wake up in the middle of the night and I go, "Oh, sugar." I go, Welker. I tend to send a text, "Dude, I'm out. Got a podcast. We already set it up in months." And I know Greg gets mad at me if I break anything.
You might need an executive assistant.
Exactly.
With this calendar.
I got a calendar. You got to see my calendar. It's nuts, man. Baseball, hockey, work. Where am I flying to? So I apologize why I was a little late. So that's why I said let's make it 6 o'clock because my wife was so pissed at me. Matt was so pissed at me. He's like, "You can't postpone it." I'm like, "No, I can't. I already had it set up and everything." I'm like, sugar. All right, let me make it at least 6 o'clock. So they came over. So right after the game, we rushed home. I literally have 40 people in my house right now. I go film my scenes and let me get the hell out of here. So I filmed the scenes. They're still there doing the movie, and I came running over here. So I apologize profusely with that. And I know Greg would have been really angry at me because he got angry at me about this fantasy football. That's a whole nother thing we're going to get to with him. Later. That's a little craziness there.
Boy.
Yeah. Well, do you know what he's talking about, Shawn? You know
No clue.
This movie that his neighbor Matt Welker put together in COVID. This is not a COVID episode.
No, it's not.
He was bored out of his mind in like May of 2020, and he's, you know, got some time in LA. He's a creative type, and so he started filming a movie on his iPhone, and then they just kept going and going and going, and they ended up making a full feature film, and they rented out the movie theater in Cool Springs, and it was like the first time people went back to the movies in October 2020. So it was pretty cool, but now he's on the fifth one.
Fifth episode.
Wow.
Fifth movie.
Okay.
And it's, you know, he did a great job. He incorporated the neighborhood into it.
Yeah.
You know, some people have bigger roles than ever. I kind of have a pretty good role in it. I'm just me. You know, I'm just me, miserable human being. That's for sure. Very opinionated.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, exactly. So let's get back to a little bit of and again, I apologize for that profusely, guys, and it's my fault. Thank you, but thank you for being able to adjust, both of you guys, and I appreciate it. And also, too, I kind of gave the excuse of, hey, you know, we got the championship game today. So we had a championship game today with our hockey team, and Shawn was on the bench there screaming and yelling, throwing kids on the ice. No, he wasn't doing that. But he was just making sure the kids were smiling and having a good time. But, the beer league here is about just cool stuff about hockey, cool stuff about baseball, youth sports. That's what it is. Tonight, we actually, from the stands, we kind of got into a discussion with the other team.
Oh.
Discussion, quote unquote discussion. And I wish I videotaped it.
But this is a North Carolina team?
North Carolina team. Not going to talk the name, but it's a North Carolina team. And so, okay, they were a very good team. Sean can attest to that. They skated well. They were a good team. They're a good team. They blew out every team in the game except us. We played them the first game, and we should have tied them. They scored to tie it up with 3 minutes left in the game, and then they scored with 1:10 to take the lead against us. We ended up losing the first game 4-3. And we're like, and that was our first game of the season. So we're like, okay. And I was impressed because I really didn't think the kids were going to do so good. Just
we had a rough start to that game, too.
It was, yeah, we did.
And we took us like 5-6 minutes to get out of the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then we took the lead 3-2, and the other team did not like it, the parents, and there was some talk amongst other parents. I'm not going to say who, but it wasn't me, that's for sure, so I'm good on that one.
It wasn't Seth.
Wasn't me. No, I'm not going to do that because that's what all boils down to crazy parents like we talk about. That's how it is. So, and we're going to get to that one with you later. But anyway, so this game here, so the championship game. So, I'm there with a couple of our dads hanging out, and there was the other team had too many men on the ice. And, some of our dads were, hey, too many men! Too many men! They're screaming. I'm like, yeah, too many men, Too many men. They finally blow the whistle. Okay, great. Maybe about a couple minutes later, we get it. And I'm looking, I'm going, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, plus the goal. Oh, yeah, that's not too, it's too many men. Now, the lady in front of us from a North Carolina team, mom, gets up, she's got a blanket on, and she's ready. She's going. She's screaming. She's like, there's the netting and everything. She's screaming through the netting, too many men, too many men. Just jumping up and down. And it went on for a while. It was a full almost 30 seconds with 6 kids on the ice.
Wow.
It was, and it was. So then I look at the referee, and he's like, oh, yeah. He throws his hand up. Next thing you know, the lady turns around. And I'm like, hey, good call, lady. Good call. We're all like, good call. She turns around. She goes, you made fun of us for getting on for 6. I'm like, whoa, stop. No one cares. I go, that was a good thing. You said
didn't say it in a sarcastic way.
Me, I would never. I wouldn't.
Depending on the tone.
I didn't. You know what, the tones? We set the tone in the beginning. We set the tone.
Okay.
Okay.
You're making yourself the good guy.
Set the tone.
Dimitri set the tone. He said, I'm going to set the tone. So anyway, the lady looks at me and goes, you guys made fun of us. It's my... I said, that was a great call. No, ma'am. And then I guess it was her father or a mother was next to her. And this woman next to it, all she would scream, I guess the kid's name was Ranger, because she was like, go Ranger. And I'm like, are the Rangers playing? They go Rangers? Yeah, like, shoot the puck, Barry. Barry Beck, Rangers. Yeah. But all she would scream is, go Ranger, go the team name. And it was so funny. So they're screaming, and I go, ma'am, it's youth hockey. Nobody cares here. No, none of us care. I go, I'm just happy that the kids are out here playing hockey. No one cares. And plus, none of these kids are going to the NHL.
What do you mean?
That's exactly what it is. The father turns around and...
How dare you?
He's got...
First weekend of the season.
First weekend, and I'll get to that one after. So the first week, so he turns around and looks at me, you don't know that? I go, oh my God. I go, I have a podcast later. Would you want to come on and be a guest speaker too on this? And I was just like, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen the first week. I go, I don't care. I don't care about it. It's just the kids were having a fun time. It gets intense, and the game is intense, especially behind the bench. But I was just like, what is these people doing? And this is the same lady that was screaming at me, screamed at the other parents in game 1. And I'm like, ooh, that's crazy, lady. Crazy. And also, if you're a team on that side, we have all our parents on that side because we're on the home side or whatever. Get to your damn side. Go on the other side. Stop your crap. Don't piss people off.
Just the first game?
The first game and the second game.
My daughter may have mentioned something about this.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What happened?
She just gets annoyed. Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't understand why they're by us.
I know.
So she was infiltrating our side.
Oh.
And then was instigating.
Instigating. And the funny thing is, so the game won when one of our parents said something to him. She goes, I was here first. So that's what you're dealing with. And you know what, Shawn, that's the one part that I enjoy, that that you were on the bench.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
I don't. It is so my son's actually, can we say high schools? So he's actually playing for Ravenwood this year. He played travel. Yeah, he played with us last year. He was on that 16U team that we threw together last minute. We had the add on. I don't know if you know, remember that email from our director saying they were adding that team, and it was a fantastic scenario because he had a team that wasn't even supposed to exist, and we actually somehow squeaked into the playoffs. Anyway, so he's playing for Ravenwood this year, and I know those high school games get a little
awful.
Yeah,
awful.
So it's because of I feel like I'm a pretty tenured coach at this point, right? Mm-hmm. I will need to go find somewhere to stand that is not amongst the wolves.
It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. Like this year, and I literally, as I was driving home, and I text two of the other dads, I go, I don't know if I can take it this year.
Yeah.
and you know how I get, because even when you said school hockey, my kid played for middle school hockey last year. Middle school in the spring.
Yeah.
And these parents were acting like animals on spring hockey. And I'm going to say, it's not from our organization parents.
Shocker.
Exactly. It was more of the other organization parents that I was disgusted with.
The Voldemort.
Oh, God.
The name we shall not name?
Yeah. Yes, we won't do that. It was awful. I really was disgusted the way these parents acted. They were just hammered the whole time too. I mean, I had a couple beers in me, don't get me wrong, but that's where you're in Bellevue and these other rinks that you can have beers, and that's why I guess where we play, no alcohol.
I got an opinion on that too, but whatever.
He doesn't like drinking at games.
Yeah.
Sean doesn't.
No, I'm not a big fan of alcohol being served at games at all. I think it should not be served at youth hockey games. So I just think that's just a recipe for disaster. The way that this fact that they do it blows my mind.
It is kind of comical.
It blows my mind.
It is.
You're putting a very emotionally driven sport where it's already intense. I mean, there was no alcohol consumed where we were at today.
Correct.
And think about it, you already dealt with stuff today in our first weekend of hockey in terms of games.
Yeah.
And then you add alcohol into the mix.
Oh, it's igniting.
Yeah.
It's igniting it. I couldn't agree with you more on that. I really do, especially because people can't hold their liquor.
No.
It's almost, on our last episodes, my wife actually nailed this, and we talked about it, because my son plays baseball too. Baseball and hockey, I guess it brings out the worst in people. It really does. Hockey does. They always say, if you really want to get to know somebody, like our second guest, you really want to know somebody, take them to a youth hockey game or a youth travel baseball game. See how they act. And that's exactly how it is, because when you do that with the alcohol and it just keeps going and people get all riled up. But again, when we get my wife's nailed it. She goes, so who's worse? What parents are worse? Well, you got baseball. Baseball, it's like a trickling effect. That was a ball. That was a strike. That was a ball. He was out. He slid safe. So it's always constant, right? Hockey is a build up. Boom.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so it's more intense, so that's a goal. That's a penalty. What are you doing? That's BS, and that's what it is. Baseball, it's just a trickle effect. It's like Chinese water torture. Oh, boy, we got you. Hockey is just, I'm going to hit you over the kneecap with a baseball bat. That's how much it is, And if people cannot hold their liquor, it gets ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly. And it's sad. I mean, we've seen videos of this. You can go through the YouTube and see crazy parents, see moms running on the ice, another guy breaking a window. I hear it all the time from friends of mine in other organizations and older kids and younger kids. We almost had a fight. I'm like, what is wrong? It's youth sports.
Did you hear there was something that happened yesterday?
No. Come on.
I will just say that there is a person that works at the rink for the park district, for the city, Metro, who came up to us because we know him, obviously, and asked if we were the team involved with the moms throwing blows at each other yesterday.
Oh my God, we needed that on video.
There may or may not be that available through a specific barn that may or may not be live.
Oh,
I asked, and I'm like, is it on
Of course
video?
not. Why would he even ask you that? Why would our organization ever even
but
thought?
I'm sure they want
I
to
don't
know.
think it was a Flyers team. I'm gonna confidently say
I would
that.
wager
Am I allowed to say
$1,000.
Flyers?
You can say
Okay.
Flyers.
I'm pretty confident it wasn't a Flyers team, and that's one of the things that I love about our culture at that club is, and it starts with our director.
Bingo.
He just does not
Class.
deal. He really is.
Class.
He's a fantastic guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's no one better that I've had as far as and I've had some guys that I would call mentors for sure back home, right, 100%. But this guy he's a class act. He the fact that he's on the ice with our house program
It's amazing.
most of the time is an anomaly in itself. I got to stop saying anomaly.
No,
I think
you
that's my
did
fourth
nail
time.
it. Nail it. That's what about.
But he's and then the other guys too. I don't know if we're supposed to say names here.
Yeah, just keep-
but
I like the other guys.
The
Who's
other
the
guy,
other?
the
Yeah.
other director,
The other
director who may or may not be a goalie as well. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Fantastic guys.
Aces.
Just I mean
Aces.
we have a very good core of coaches there. Are we going to get it right 100%?
No.
Right?
No.
But I think there's a commonality between us, and it's wanting to develop as coaches as well along the way. And that's the thing that I always, and I said this earlier today. As a coach, if I have an expectation for you as players to develop and work hard to develop, then I need to be willing to grow as a coach and develop as a coach, right? And every season, as cheesy or as cliche as it may be, I'm trying to figure out how I can outdo what I did last year, right? And if you're not doing that as a coach, as a culture, maybe you need to go across the other.
Maybe you check yourself.
You go.
Because the organization that we're in, and Greg can attest to this too, for years, I've always said this is the organization I was. We did go to another organization in the beginning because it was literally right next to my house. But Greg knew this since day one. I said, I kind of talked to Greg about where would you put your kid, and I said, absolutely bring him here down
That's
here.
true.
And I said, because the culture, they have it right. They've been doing this for 60 years. They understand what works and what doesn't work. Again, I'm never going to say though that's bad or this is good or this is my own personal preference. The reason why. They have it right in my eyes. Other organizations, again, that's their thing. They can do it. It's great. But they promote different things. They push different things. They push your kid thinking he's going to make the NHL or Division I hockey. And that's terrific. Great. If you feel that way and you have the finances and the ability, and if your kid has the ability, then great. Go for it. Super. Congratulations. Me, I look at my kid. I want him to play other sports. It is the cheaper of the three organizations, well, four almost organizations, and I enjoy that because it's something that I go, hey, this is what it's about. And you nailed it. It starts, you always say the fish stinks from the head down. This is a great organization because why? The fish doesn't stink from head down. It's a great organization. It's run correctly. It's run smart. Again, I'm not going to bash anybody else or anything about that, but this organization to me was what's successful for what I wanted, what my kids' needs and my family's needs.
He's got to love it.
Oh, he loves it. My kid loves it.
And that's it. He's got to love it. And that's again, not to point fingers at what other clubs are doing. At the end of the day, if you're building this kid up and put him in a situation that puts him on a path for failure, right? And by failure, I mean you add another A to what was double A and almost barely double A. Let's just be honest.
As well, being up north.
And that's what my concern is.
It's a different perspective than people down who are a non-traditional market don't quite understand it. But people that have been around hockey their whole lives are like, let's manage
Yeah.
our expectations.
It's definitely watered down the double A. And
has.
even single A too. It has watered everything down.
Yeah.
And organizations are there for two things: one, to develop your kid and enjoy it, and two, it's a business. Hockey's a business. And Greg said the best thing. What's youth sports? How much does it bring in, Greg? When you texted me.
So yeah, I mean, I was looking at this book that I've been reading, but essentially since like 2010, youth sports was like worth $8 billion, and then in 2019 it was worth $18 billion. At the time, NFL's worth $16 billion. And I just looked it up an hour ago. Right now, 5 years later, $40 billion.
40
Youth
billion.
sports is a $40 billion industry.
Holy cow.
The NFL is like 25, maybe. I mean, it's getting bigger than the NFL and the NBA combined.
Jesus. That's nuts. That puts in perspective. And it's a good business decision, because let's throw it out there. Again, this organization, I said, is on the lower end. You pop out per team, per game, per whatever, and you go into this age group, it's $5,000. Some organizations are $8,000, $9,000. That's just to be on the team.
You got all your travel expenses.
Travel expense. I know people that are on that extra A.
Yes.
And they have dropped $30,000 for the year. I mean, listen, I've always said I'm never going to bash anybody from doing that. God bless you. But I can get a new car for that, Or I can put my kid, hey, that's a year of college. So, and this is what's crazy too, and I try telling people this a lot. Youth sports, if in baseball or hockey or basketball, whatever, it's an investment. It's a terrible investment. It's like worse than buying a car, right? When you get off the lot, it's already done. It's a terrible investment. But the investment is your family. You become family. It's almost like a fraternity. Like I'm paying money into a fraternity to hang out with you guys. And if it wasn't for hockey, I'm not hanging out with you. I never met you guys,
Sure.
And it's kind of cool. And even before that, my daughter was dance. That's a fraternity too. It's youth sports. It's dance. My wife's best friends are from the dance.
I actually saw a TikTok of the sorority dance.
Have
you seen those?
Oh, my daughter's in it. Should I show you that one?
There's a number of them.
Yeah, it is. And there she's dead center. Rah, rah, she's going by. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's terrible.
That's your investment.
That's my investment.
Paying off.
Exactly. She paid it because she danced and growing up, Now she's on TikTok doing that for Chi Omega at UK. Woo! Go Cats. Meow. Anyway. But yeah, that's what it is, and it's an investment. It's a terrible, terrible investment, and youth sports are terrible. But
it could be a terrible investment, but it also could be a fantastic one too.
it's a terrible for the finances, but it's a
Right.
great for friendships and
Well,
building.
Here again, if you have the right culture and you have and Greg, I know you were just in our parent meeting. Like, I truly believe in the lessons that I'm providing, teaching, coaching, that this should translate into the real world, right? And work ethic to me is the number one thing I want out of the kids.
Correct.
And I always challenge them. I always ask this question. You heard this recently. Do you have to be good at hockey to work hard at it? And it's a rhetorical question. And then I always follow with, do you have to be good at anything to actually work hard at it? But then I have to educate kids, and I actually have to educate my wife on this years and years ago. When work ethic or working hard it's not, you don't try to do it, right? It is a decision that you make. You can try to execute different plays or different drills working hard and fail horribly at them. But you can fail hard is what I like to say, right? And to me, that's the culture that I want, and that's the first thing that, I mean, you probably heard me a couple times losing it on the ice. I don't know if you've been at the practices a little bit. And the best is the other day we were doing a drill, not hard, not a difficult drill. Didn't take a lot of, there wasn't a lot of hockey IQ involved in it. It was a variation of a pass and follow. These kids have been doing this since mites, okay? But I asked the team, where does the drill end? And I always ask that question. Every team I've ever coached, where's the drill end? Not when you execute the play. It's at the end of the line when you get to when you're not done here. You're done when you get to the end of the line, right? And for some reason, even though I asked them at the beginning of this drill, the specific drill we're talking about, where does the drill end? And multiple kids answered at the end of the line, so they knew. We still had to have a little bit of a coming to Jesus conversation twice during this drill, and it was very early. And it's because I watched them making the pass, and then they're literally, you could see their body posture change from being down in an athletic stance while they're skating and making that pass to upright with the knees almost locked out, and then coasting to the end of the line. And so I got on them pretty good, and I'm like, you guys all answered the question correctly. I don't care about the pass. I don't care if your teammate catches it. I don't care if it's tape to tape. What I'm watching, just so we're clear, is what you do after you make that pass. And then all of a sudden we had probably a minute to 90 seconds long of just bam, 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 bam. And I whistled it dead again. And I'm like, you guys all just screwed up big time. Big time. And I'm like, who wants to guess why? And I heard, because now you know we can do it. I'm like, 100%, right? Yep. So now I'm holding you accountable for it, because it's not a matter of if you can. Yeah. It's making that. So it goes back to what I'm saying. It's a decision to work hard, not try. Yeah. Right. Because there's no trying. You just do it or you don't. Yeah. And that's it. Right. You don't have to be good.
Yoda said that. I think Yoda said
Yoda.
that.
We'll call you Yoda.
Said it a little differently. I think try or try not.
I love it. Because I was going to ask you, when do you snap? When do you just go, that's it, whistle, everyone's skating. I don't care. Put the pucks away. Everyone's skating, because you guys won't bust your butt. If you aren't going to bust your butt, when is that line happen? Because I know when I coached ice hockey up in New York.
Yep.
And when I watch it, like you just nailed it, of these kids, they can do it. It's just, and it does happen, because, hey, not every practice is going to be an A practice. There's going to be times that these kids are just going to go through the motions.
Sure.
And that's when it makes teams better, and a kid gets better because they go through the motions. Stop fooling yourselves. And as a coach, it just drives you insane. When is when does the pop happen with you? Do you know? Or has it happened yet?
It's happened a couple times already this season. Okay. I own it, right? Yeah. Again, I told the parents in the parent meeting, I'm not going to get it 100% right, right? But there were some motivating reasons why. We had some shenanigans in the locker room already.
Really?
Yeah, the days 3 and 4 practice.
I think it was your kid. You got that kid's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
He's crazy.
I tell him
he's an instigator.
Constantly, got to tell that kid to
nuts.
stop.
No, he's great.
He is. He's actually. I will say on a side note, I told him. Are we not allowed to say names here?
No.
I told Jack, I'm like, you're doing a really good job, buddy. Yeah. You know what? You're helping me out by not being part of that equation, right? So keep it up.
He'll never. I'm telling you, I've known him for years. He's not going to be that kid.
My favorite thing to tell him 2 years ago, I was like, hey, shut up. Stop talking. Like he's like literally just
quiet.
Sitting there, I'm like, hey, stop talking over there. He's like, what? Are we allowed to swear in this?
Curse away.
I had to be I turned into a dick. I walked in the locker room. I already heard about it after practice on their third practice, and then it was before practice for the fourth one. Mm-hmm. And so I walked in the locker room. I said, we had a practice plan. We're not going to be doing that practice plan. The one thing that I don't want to deal with is a bunch of knuckleheads in the locker room. Perfect. Okay? You're 13 and 14 years old. Now, I will say I've kind of regrouped on that. And not to jump too far ahead, a decision has been made on my end. And I've communicated this with our 12U head coach, who I'm assisting, as you know, and our practices are typically back-to-back. Mm-hmm. Originally, it was going to be like, hey, I'm hopping off. I'm not going to be doing picking up pucks. I'm going to go, the team has been instructed, parents have been instructed. I want the kids there ready 10 minutes before practice starts. We have 50-minute slots. Yeah. I want to tell them what we're working on, what we're doing, so we don't spend that time wasting it on the ice. Okay?
Beautiful.
So I went from the 10-minute marker I've told our fearless leader on our 12U team that I'm going to be hopping off about halfway through practice now. I think the kids, I had some experience when I wasn't coaching as a dad, actually, with my oldest, our first year down here. And we had a very militant coach who did get weeded out at some point from our organization because, again, our fearless leader at top, there's a culture, and I just don't think he fit it. But he had this idea that he was going to be extremely militant on the ice with the kids, keep them on a tight leash. And these are 13 or 14-year-old boys who are going through puberty.
Absolutely.
And so you put him on a tight leash, and then he had this directive where he wasn't going to have a coach in the locker room, okay? And he also, in addition to that, he had 2 locker room leaders, AKA kids that he's asking to throw his teammates under the bus, their teammates under the bus.
Were they quote unquote captain and assistant captain?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
They were just kids that he was having basically them report back to him what's going on in the locker room. And that does not
narcs. That's not good.
That's not good for the culture in the locker room. That's not good for the culture on the team in general. No. And so him and I had we're gonna call it a discussion, a friendly disagreement. It was not friendly. But I told him, I'm like, look, you are a militant type coach, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. My kid responds well to that. Would I tell you now? Is there something wrong with that? Probably. At 13, 14 years old, yes. But my kid responds well to it. Not everyone does. Yeah. Okay, there's other kids on there that literally still talk about this coach to this day when they see me. Oh, you remember that guy? He was such a dick.
Yeah.
I'm like.
But you know what, though? They brought the kids together because that one guy was such a tool bag, and you're like, remember that? Yeah, let's screw it. This guy's great.
That drill sergeant.
Yeah. And it does. It brings kids together. They always remember it.
Well, this guy, I will say, he did, after we had the friendly discussion, he did regroup himself and decided to post someone else out near a locker room. Okay. Right? And so, anyway, having that experience, my directive changed where I told our coach for our boys that I was going to be getting off the ice about halfway through because they need someone in the locker room, right? They need a mentor. They need someone that's going to keep them from. These kids they're calling each other idiots. They're telling each other shut up the entire time. They're at that age where they're just a lot of testosterone building up.
Absolutely.
Well, Seth, I've heard you say that the game begins in the locker room.
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you think that?
Because it's camaraderie. It's a camaraderie thing. See, I agree, and I kind of disagree what you're saying as a coach being in a locker room. You have to let them police themselves. I would never have a kid narc on another kid. Absolutely not. But I would give maybe special treatment to the leader of the group. If everyone listens to one kid, and you can see it as a coach, you can see it on the ice, it may not be your best player. But you know what? He may be the most popular kid in the locker room that they all love, or everyone's like they respect him. It may be the big kid on your team that's everyone's afraid of, but he may not be the best player. Best player out on the ice. If you look at Messier and Gretzky. Gretzky was the best player on the ice, but everybody feared Messier. That gives at that age, it's almost like, okay, here we go. Here it is. This is the leadership skills that these kids are looking for. Not just say in sports, but in life.
Right.
And that gives them that. And I know everybody wants, I want to be the captain. I want to be the captain. Well, why do you want to be the captain? That's always was my question. Why do you want to be a captain? Because I want to be the guy. Like, give me something more.
Well, it's like center. Yeah. Like the kids are over-glorify center the entire youth hockey. Like, I got to play center. We here. Yes, I agree with your thinking on it, but my experience is telling me it's not. It doesn't work.
Yet.
It doesn't work.
And it's also too. It's the age too.
And they're a young.
Yeah,
they're an A2 team. They're first year four. Most of these kids are first year 14s.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one.
It's tough because
you got to set a foundation that you can work from.
Yeah. And it's just really ultimately in here. My deciding point was. Up until a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday, I hadn't been in the locker room at all. But then we had, you remember we did the split ice where I had my team down at one end and we had, okay. So that day was the first time that I was in the locker room with those kids.
Okay.
Getting ready. And we had a rock star practice.
Yeah.
And I cannot, I can't, here, 100%, I think it had a lot to do with me being in the locker room and just getting them dialed in.
Because kids, kids are going to look around and go, all right, we can't skirt around. Coaches here.
Well, they still try. They'll just be honest.
And then you go, hey, knock it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to say this is good or bad, but I do know the other organization, how they ran their locker room. And this was number 2, Steve Wood, our second, our guest.
Good episode.
Great episode. He would tell a story with his son. His son is on the 12U other team. That we're going to be scrimmaging here in a couple weeks.
Okay.
He told me that their team, their coach, and the coach is an ex-NHL player and very good. He said, I want you, when you get into the locker room, you got to get out in 5 minutes. If not, you will be doing push-ups. 5 minutes. And at the end of practice, if you're not out of the locker room in 5 minutes, you're doing push-ups. So with that being said, the less time that these kids are together in the locker room, do I agree with that or disagree with that? I kind of lean towards I disagree, because how you build a team, and I've said this since day one, is the locker room. The bench is where the kids, like as a baseball coach, I'll let the kids sit on the bench. I say, I take a break, guys. And I'm not going to sit there and hover over them. I'm going to let them become adults now.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to let the kids run amok and do whatever they want, like Wampa Room. No. I will always watch, but from a distance. And I know it's hard for a locker room.
Would you agree with this, though? I feel that when we were that age, the maturity level was a
lot higher,
right?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say I'm sure our parents were saying the same shit,
thing about
right?
us.
I never pulled that shit with my dad.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did.
Okay, yes, I did. But here, back to your original question. Like, at what point do I break?
Yeah.
I do a lot of yelling for engagement, not so much just to berate kids, right? Because again,
you're a loud guy too.
I'm a loud
You're a
guy,
loud guy.
right.
You're from the north, and I agree with that too.
Yeah.
And that's it. Also, it's like, wow, he's loud.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pay attention.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And again, Greg, I don't know if you were there for that practice, right, when they were doing the pass and foul scenario, but when they were humming, that shit was like. My heart was starting,
good.
like, dude, I was like, there was an aha moment. Like, okay, these kids can produce, they can work. And that's why I'm like, all right, we'll whistle at that again. I'm like, you guys all messed up, right? Now, I will say there are times, because it happened this same practice, where I introduced a new drill, and I got to remind myself that they're 13 and 14 years old sometimes. And there's not a whole lot that's involved with this other, like these are new drills that we're picking up, right? This is a new, I'm a new coach for all these kids, most of these kids. There are some times that I have to remind myself to not go down the rabbit hole of negativity.
Yeah.
And because when you do, it never gets better, okay? And we have an experience that you've experienced last year, that we experienced a year prior. And there was moments where I had to help him regroup. And again, the one thing I love about this coach, which maybe some people don't see necessarily on the surface, is he does want to grow, right? Yeah. And he would always benefit from an older guy for sure being with him. But I know that when I'm negative, whether it's during a game or during a practice, it never evolves. It never gets better. We never get out of that funk.
It's like a dead end.
100%, right? But so we're doing this drill. I'm like, what the fuck, right? It's not that hard, guys. And like literally, you got kids just like literally looking like he could be fucking looking or picking daisies if he was playing baseball.
Baseball,
right?
It's playing,
right?
Yeah, like playing
helicopter.
It's
a helicopter.
Helicopter. Yeah, there you go.
So instead of getting pissed, I looked at the clock. I'm like, fuck, dude, we're going a smaller game, right? Like, because I knew if I just kept going, it's not going to get better.
No.
Right? Now,
sometimes you got to just chalk it up a loss, and let's go on.
Right. Will we go back to that drill? 100%, right? But now, again, back to that locker room, right? We could talk. Like, now I know before we do that drill again, I'm bringing in a laptop and I'm showing them on it, or my tablet, right?
I'm going to throw something at you, and I said this last year to our coach. A couple years ago, in one of the organizations that we are at, and I thought it was a great thing. I forgot the name of the app, but there was an app that they would send to us, to every player on the team. Send the app, said, okay, we need you to download this app. It was a practice plan, and this practice plan was awesome. It had 3-dimensional. It showed like a video game, because these kids, that's all they care about is like, hockey.
Yeah.
And it showed you your plan.
Yeah.
You did a practice plan. Hey, listen, this practice plan, and I'll look into that app and I'll show it to you.
Is this the club that we started with?
Correct.
I am familiar with this.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the app is. But
Exactly. It was terrific. It
Yeah.
was gold, because and it's even more, and I told this to our coach last year, I said, this app is great because we have 50 minutes opposed to an hour on the ice.
Right.
So you don't want, and you nailed it before, you don't want to spend that time explaining a drill to these kids, because you're like, so they did it with an hour, and they would send out these drills going, hey, please look at these drills. And they would send it out the day before. We're going to do, I mean, as a coach, it's prep. You have to prep what you're going to do. And I know what my game plan as a coach, and I've gotten crap from it. When I was doing my baseball, I'm like, okay, from 10 o'clock to 10:05, we're doing stretching. 10:06 to 10:10, we're going to have this group's doing this group's doing this. And I would have a list and show exactly, because if you don't have that, 2 hours for baseball, and that's a lot, 2 hours, but it's really not a lot. An hour is not a lot of time for hockey.
No.
50 minutes is even worse.
Well, 50 minutes. The last 10 minutes from where I came in Chicago, that was my small area game at the end, right? So now, and I still absolutely think that every practice should end with a small area game, right?
Yeah.
I told one of the other coaches, because he had asked me earlier on, I think it was like maybe third practice, second practice, and he's like, where do you want the nets? I'm like, cross ice.
Yep.
And he goes, really? I'm like, you'll very, very rarely will you ever see me do a full ice anything at the
It's
end.
just, that's too winded. The kids get too crazy.
Well, and here, the other thing too is these kids, that area, that time and space is going to start being occupied a lot quicker now, especially as they
get bigger and stronger.
We're bigger and stronger, faster, right? And so you want to make sure these kids are in tight spaces, because you look at how many opportunities we didn't get a puck shot at the net today alone.
Yeah.
Right. Those are some of the intangibles that you get out of the smaller games. Yeah. Right. It's just being able to figure out where I need to put my hands and my arms, and again, having the bottom hand being a variable. It doesn't have to be. I saw Patrick Sharp. I grew up watching Sharp playing hockey in Chicago, and he would always drop down to a knee and have literally all the way down that bottom hand was when he was taking his shots down from his knee, and scored a lot of goals that way. Right. Again, it's not. There's no perfect science to this.
No. But I think also too, that app to me is good, because it also gives a wake up. Hey, the parents. Hey, I got an iPad. Everybody has an iPad.
Right.
So that email would go out and go, this is our practice plan tomorrow. Please look at it. Any questions, let us know. Because, and then again, and I know sometimes they try to do before practice, like you said, we got 10 minutes before, I'm going to have the board, and this is what we're going to do. Even send that app out to everybody, go, okay, this is the game plan, the practice plan, and just do a quick, hey, did you watch it? Okay, all right, here you go. And that app has strictly a 3-dimensional. It has a dimensional that you're looking down. It has a first player way to do it, how he was doing. It was super. It really was a great app. And, to me, as a parent, and these kids, their attention spans are terrible.
Yeah.
Like you said, IQ. Hockey IQ now is even worse, too. Baseball IQ is just gone bye-bye. And it's hard to watch sometimes, and you go, you just get over the line and dump it. Don't shoot it down. What are you doing? Like today, my son, I'm like, fuck you doing? He just took it and just ripped it down. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I know the particular player
exactly.
you're talking about.
I was like, I looked at my
He was right by the bench, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I go, what the fuck is he doing?
Here.
Yeah.
John probably, I think, did the same thing at least twice,
Oh, man.
Here, these are I will say Dimitri he had a hell of a weekend though. I think he played pretty well.
I'm going to disagree. I appreciate it. I think he had a very good first game. I think he took a dump on game 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I think they all took a dump today in game 5 for sure. Especially about we had a much. I was gonna say we had a better start, but we didn't.
Yeah. No, it was a pizza right up the center.
Yeah, here you go, served right up, right up, tape to tape. Just the wrong player.
The first, it was literally 5 seconds into the game. We win the draw. Back to our defenseman. He takes it. He tries to throw it up the center. Complete pizza. Bang! The kid takes it from the center and splits. And I think my son, I don't know even what my son was doing because he didn't throw the pizza. The other guy threw the pizza. And he's just sitting there looking and going, I think he had the flag go, ole! And the kid went right by and he scored a goal for the first 10 seconds.
I think he was probably as shocked as we were.
I think he was. He was just like,
I heard it. In the defense, I mean, that's, it happens.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, it's funny. We got in the locker room today. And I sometimes have to watch myself because I have to remember my role as an assistant coach. Mm-hmm. And I'm breaking out the dry. Like, we get done talking to the kids, and I got the fucking dry erase board showing the coaches, like, hey, this is what I think we need to do this. Like, without saying it, mm-hmm. I'm literally, but I did show our assistant, the assistant coach who's been with the other coach for a while. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about. Yep. And he's like, dude, I love that, right? But one of the things that I think we got to work on defensively, and for the record, your son does a good job with this. He holds the line.
I appreciate that.
We have a difficult time with two of the other players not like.
I know exactly. Yes. I saw him screaming at one of them today.
Yeah. So
and we were down 2 goals, 3 goals. He goes,
we need goals.
Yeah,
we don't. Yeah.
IQ.
It's not IQ. You know what it is? It's conditioning.
Yeah. You nailed it.
He's worried about getting beat to the outside.
Yeah.
And so, again, going back to that 16U team that we put together last season, our head coach he's a very defensive-minded coach. He played D. He still plays D when he plays men's league.
Okay.
And
not the B league, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
But
I heard he's pretty good though.
He's
just saying. But the guy is fantastic, and I will say just a little accolade to this guy. My son brought up his first experiences with youth hockey, my oldest son, and he remembers fucking dads yelling at him because they were being like he was getting into kids on the ice, and because he wanted to be the first kid in line. He was the kid who was like, I want to play center, right? And so there was dads that were just idiots about it, right? Yeah. And so my kid's first experience with hockey and first memories of hockey are these dads fucking yelling at him. Mm-hmm. And so I was telling his coach Dave from last season and then 2 seasons prior that, dude, his favorite 2 seasons of hockey ever were the ones with Campbell. Dave Campbell was the coach, and he was a fantastic guy, right? Anyway, we did a lot of defensive oriented drills that you were occupying the entire ice. Mm-hmm. But you had multiple kids going. You had a forward or 2 going, and a defenseman going at all times, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a little flow to this. And I shoulder raise. I'm like, because we call it's gap control, right? Our specific player
gap control is huge.
The specific player we're talking about is it's supposed to be 2 stick lengths max.
Yeah.
But this guy is going back 100 feet.
Yeah.
Right, because he doesn't want to get beat to the outside.
And there's also time of when to jump the play, too, as a defenseman. I want to...
Don't even get me started there.
That's a whole... But again, like you said, the safety measure. Yeah. But go ahead.
But it just, those are the things that, I nerd out, like, at the end of a weekend, and that's why I'm like, it's fresh in my mind. So I'm literally showing these guys. The other thing that drove me fucking nuts this weekend was the flybys.
Yeah.
Okay, and again... There's a couple things that I take away from that. Like right away, there was one kid who I forgot who did it, and I looked at Todd. I go, "He plays inline, doesn't he?" And he's like, "Yes, he does." And he knew. I'm like, and that's very indicative of inline kids to do those flybys and not doing the hard stops. Mm-hmm. We will be fucking doing some hard stops this week. It may be tomorrow actually.
Yeah.
But again, broke out the dry erase board while I have it out. I'm like, oh, and then there's this one. Oh, and then there's this one.
Well, as a coach too, you always. That's what's cool. You're never too old to learn.
Right.
And that's one of the books right there, Matheny Manifesto, and the other one is Coach Dad that I have it too. These books are always great for parents too. And you go, hey, like anytime I have a baseball team, I go, read that book before we talk to each other. Coach Dad too. And it's great. As a coach, you're always learning. especially being a dad coach. You know, your son had a great weekend too. I felt he did very well for especially his first time playing AA.
Yeah.
Being younger, he was skating hard, and that one line that was, I tell you what, that was a spectacular line too that went out there today. You know, you mixed the match, but he played well. He got a biscuit. Got a goal today. He scored. Got buried the biscuit.
We had two first years buried today. So Brady got one today.
Too, yeah.
Johnny got one earlier in the game. You know, and I thought John's line was probably one of our best that first game today.
Yeah.
And then of course David's line.
He played.
This afternoon.
I thought that man, that boy played
That's
great.
Rudy Rudiker right there.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't stop.
He is Rudy.
He was great. But when I'm talking a bit about this with your son, dad coach and everything, I know how I felt coaching Mike's son, and how does it feel? How does your son deal with you as a coach and or as a dad? And is it harder for you to coach in hockey, your kid?
Well, seeing as that is my third child that I've coached in this sport.
So you have less than patience, so I
No,
can't.
So, first of all, he's made it a little easier because out of the three, he's the one who will go outside and fucking work on his shit. Yeah. Okay? The kid loves it. Where the other two, they like it.
Yeah.
You know, like Kayla took the season off last year. You know, she played house league, which I was, you know, I had to stay at the fucking rink I was at the rink another night because of that. You know, and you know, I have a specific style of coaching. I coach one way. It doesn't matter how many A's, you know, precede your birth year, right? Anyway, you know, Ian, my oldest, was a fucking pain in the ass. Okay. And you know, quick backstory. One of the main reasons that I got heavily involved in coaching is Ian has severe ADHD. Right now, he's evolved quite a bit. Right, and I loved his head coach growing up. Right, great mentor for me personally.
I was going to ask you mentor, but so that's perfect. You nailed that.
But
segued.
he also, there's things that he did that I learned from that I don't want to do.
Correct.
Because I saw the other experience. And again, back to the story that I mentioned of his memories, earliest memories of hockey, of dads yelling at him. You know, I'm sitting here dealing with these dads because his head coach had a 14U Central States team, which is I call Central States AAA purgatory.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like basically a level up from double A, but you know, it's still.
You still don't want to spend the extra money for that extra.
No, they're still paying.
Oh,
they're still paying. Yeah. But anyway, so he had a 14U Central States team, and any conflicts, it was the assistant coaches, and we had some idiots for parents on that team. Right? And I'm not going to be bashful about saying it because I would literally say it to their faces now because I have a lot more experience, a lot more. There's a different perspective that I have, and I will say this: there's no fucking way that the Flyers would ever put up with these dads the way these families were.
I get it. I've seen it.
But back to the you know, there was a game, and it was funny because I've said the kids over glorified center. Worst snowstorm we had all fucking season. And I got to go from Chicagoland, right, Burbia, to Rockford. And it's normally about...
Rockford's north of the city.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that.
It's about an hour from where I'm at, right? Maybe an hour and 15.
Oh, wow.
Well, I white-knuckled it, and it was about 3 hours to get there, just to get there.
Oof.
And now I was involved with coaching, but I was not coaching this team. Another backstory on that, but I'm sitting there and it's second period midway through, and I noticed Ian has not been on the ice for a while, and I'm wondering, what the fuck is going on? And I said something to my buddy Brian, who's sitting next to me. I still talk to him every day, pretty much. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? Where the fuck is Ian? I'm like, how come he's not playing? I'm like, is he hurt? And I'm like looking, and I see him there, but he's not on the ice. Second period ends. I don't think he played the whole second half of the second period. Third period comes, didn't go on the ice at all. And I was fucking pissed. Here I am. I drove 3 hours in the fucking worst snowstorm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
No clue. And so what I was informed of was Ian decided that he wasn't going to play unless he got to play center.
Oh.
And so coach decided to tell an 8-year-old boy, fine, you're not playing.
Oh, my God.
And so I look at that, and I look at that dynamic, and I look at the type of kid he is. And you got a very stubborn coach and a punk kid. We as a coach need to figure out what the fuck the button is to push for him.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
And in that moment, Ralph failed my son. Okay? He was a great coach. Taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. I feel like a lot of the good that you hear that comes from what I do with these kids comes from his mentorship. Cool. Okay? But also some of the things that he did that I feel he failed at are almost more impressionable on me.
Well, it's certain things that too you learn. You take the good and the bad to try to make a better you.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Not everyone's the greatest. Not everyone's the worst. Even if they're the worst,
I still love that guy. I mean, I still love him. And I still talk to him from time to time. He's a guy that I love shooting, talking shop with. And but again, it was in that moment I knew, hey, like this kid and kids like him are never going to have a good shot at anything unless they have a guy who understands.
Well, how do you try to do that? How do you try to figure out which button to push depending on the kid's personality or skill or whatever?
With Ian, it's, again, and it's unfair because I have insider trader information with him. But sometimes it's empowering the player, right? Sometimes it's getting them to see the value. Like one of the things that I tell the players as it relates to playing center, centers aren't scorers; they're playmakers typically, right? There should be, and one of the things that I love about John's game is he didn't play center this weekend, but he's very defensive oriented, right? He's a very defensive oriented, right? So for him, his motivation is he'd rather not score as long as the other team doesn't.
Yeah, well,
right?
You need those role players like that,
And so, knowing what drives him or knowing what drives kids, and you figure those out, right? And we have a player who is on our Kayla and Jack's team who you guys were with last year, who is what I'd probably call a gamer, and his effort has been lackluster at best, okay? And he's played defense. You know who this player is. And he's played defense for a long time, but I've already caught wind that he wants to play center. He wants to give it a goal, right? And he's very capable of scoring.
Oh yeah, okay? He is very capable.
He's very capable. He's
got a great shot.
He's also a little bit of a puck hog.
A little bit,
I've heard.
Well, it's funny. Again, we're not going to bring this up. Yeah. I've always said it, and he knows. He's putting his hands on his head, but he knew during that year last year. I said, he is not a defenseman. He's a forward. I said, because he can shoot.
I mentioned this to you. Actually, who I'm talking about, right?
He can shoot. He can score. He's got a great shot, but cannot play defense.
Yeah.
And he does puck hog.
Yeah.
So to me,
I was told it's worse in the games than it has been in practice.
I'll show you a video.
Okay. You don't need to.
How do you break them of puck hogging? Because
there's already plans in the works. Sometimes it's who you put them with, right? And again, so back to your question, again, finding what drives individual players is that's part of the challenge, right? And so there was another guy who, again, fantastic. He was an older gentleman who's still coaching when, he's actually Kayla's first head coach ever.
Cool.
And Kayla loved that season, by the way. Actually, I take that back. Her first year ever, we were with our director at that club, who happened to put her with his team because that way, if he was going to miss anything, he had me to fill in, which worked. The second year, there was a guy named Marty Alamian, again, older gentleman, and back prior to this season of him having me as an assistant coach and my daughter on his team, I remember when I was getting into coaching, and he said something that I've repeated several times. And he said, listen, coach, if you're stepping up and you want to do this thing, right? You want to be a coach, right? And you got 15 players on a bench. It's your responsibility as a coach to find 15 buttons to push. And he said, no matter what, you got to figure it out. And it's going to be different for everybody. And what's going to be more challenging about it is it's not going to stay consistent. What drives a kid in, call it, August or September may not be the same button you need to be pushing come, January and February, right? So you have to be dynamic. You got to constantly evolve and constantly find those motivating.
I was going to ask you, you were talking about that app, but nowadays things are obviously different than they were in the 90s or the 70s when you
know
came
what?
up.
I'm offended by that.
But the social
Documented.
media, the TikTok, I mean, there's so many different tips and stuff. I think there was an email that went out about this is
Shawn
somebody you should
Walker.
watch. How do you incorporate that to keep the kids' attention in this modern era where they're always watching YouTube shorts or TikTok? How do you incorporate that? And is it good? Is it bad?
I've never really actually, threw something like that out there. But ironically, so what he's referring to, we can bring Dimitri up because the original reason why that resonated with me is because I had just watched that video. And we had a practice with the 12s. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I love about our head coach for that team is he has a mutual respect for us as assistant coaches and wants us to be involved with the team, right? Because there was a moment where, so we were doing a drill where the kids were in the corners, so we started down at one end, and they were throwing a pass up to the point. And when they throw that pass up the point, they need to crash in that, and that defenseman is basically going to push or pull that puck and get a shot off. And then it happens from the other side. And now you got two forwards in front of the net, and then they go 3v2 the other way. Mm-hmm. But I noticed, and one of our better, more dynamic players was throwing these little really sissy passes. I probably would put it a different way, but they're
soft
really
pass, very soft passes.
Okay, and I asked him. I saw him do it once, and then I saw him do it again, and then on the third time, I'm like, all right, no, right, like so. I asked him. I pull him aside after that last rep, and I go, "Do you think that you're helping your defenseman out by throwing that puck real soft to them?" He was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Are you going to throw a pass like that during the game?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Then why would you do it during practice?" Right? It was a rhetorical question again, right? Why would you? So I told him, I'm like, "Hey, you need to help your defenseman out by challenging them with a hard tape-to-tape pass. And sometimes even if you're throwing that and you're trying to go tape-to-tape and it doesn't, even better, right? Because now they gotta adjust because that's real." Okay, soft passes are not real. It's not, and I mean they shouldn't be, right? But so the next rep he takes, 10 times better. Mm-hmm. But then my kid fouls and does the same fucking thing, and I go, oh my god! So I skid over. Our head coach is, he's on the other end of the ice at the blue line, and I go, "Hey, coach, these kids are like not throwing passes out, like," and then he watched. And he goes, "Oh yeah." Right. And I go, "So I don't know if you want," I'm like, "I just talked to so-and-so about it." And then I talked to my kid, and then my kid did it again. And I'm like, "So I don't know if you want to say anything." And first thing out of his mouth, he's like, skating away, he goes, "Hey, coach." I turn around, he goes, "Fucking tell him." I'm like, "Giddy up."
I love it.
Right. So I like yelling out at the kids again, yelling to engage them, mm-hmm. not yelling at them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "Hey guys, we had a saying in the military, you train how you fight." Right? Like you have times where guys were like, "Oh, I don't want to wear my rucksack because, well, guess what? In a real fucking situation, yep. You got to have your rucksack, yep. Right? So we train as we fight." And the same thing in practice. I said, "Are you guys going to throw little sissy passes out to your defensemen during the game?" Mm-hmm. And everyone's, "No." Okay. Well, the very next rep, what happened to Dimitri?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, right by him."
It went right under, the pass was so hard. And it went right under his stick, kind of knocked his stick away, went right under his stick. And so now I'm like, and that's exactly why we want to do that, because how is Dimitri going to practice his trade mm-hmm. if you guys are just throwing these little soft passes out there, right?
I feel like it's a weird thing with kids coming up that they don't really see practice as like you have to go hard. You have to go hard the whole time at practice.
Our 14s will, I promise.
Well, these conversations that I'm having with my son right now are, hey, you have to practice the way I said and I gave him the old practice. We're talking about practice.
We are talking about practice.
So I said to him, I said, how are you going to get better if you don't practice hard? And I said also, too, if you don't practice hard, how are you going to make your buddies better then?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I know he told me he was one of the kids on the team was mad at him because D went at basically D's a physical player.
Yeah, we talked about that, and I want him to be.
Yeah, he's a physical player. Is he clean? Somewhat.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. But I'm trying to teach him to be a little bit more dirty. And let's be honest. You know, I mean, there's little sneaky things. And listen, hockey, when our era was just dirty and filthy and mean and nasty. Now it's like, oh, okay, you can come over and whack our goalie 7 times without getting touched. You know, and I told him, I said, you have to protect your goalie. Yeah. Anytime someone skates in there and they just, you know, he covers up and they're doing a snow shower and they're still
on their ass.
I'm like, you know what? I said, dude, don't have me see that. And you just stand there. I said, this is something that you got to understand. That's respect. You step up for your goalie and respect them. But the thing is, you got to get physical. And I told him, I said, you're going to get to a level, and hitting is going to be next year. And D got physical with somebody, and the kid complained. He's like, why are you hitting me so hard? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm playing hockey. So
was that practice?
Yeah, it was a practice. Yeah. And he's like, Dad, he got mad at me. I said, don't. You keep being you.
Yeah, and if I ever catch one of that, we we're doing the Wednesday skates, as you know. Mm-hmm. And maybe I told you this story, but we and I feel like I didn't answer your question completely yet. Sorry, if you remember what it was. But
TikTok hockey.
Yes, TikTok hockey. We were doing our Wednesday night skates, and I had two players who are doing the cones basically in the corners, and they come around and get a puck, and it's a puck race, and they're 1v1 going in. Yep. Right. And these kids are going at it. Mm-hmm. And the one specific one that I coached last year, he got rough down to his knees, mm-hmm. and gave the kid a smack in the shins.
Gave him the lumber.
He gave him the lumber. So I'm like,
gave him the fiberglass.
So this to me, I always look for teaching moments, right? Yeah. And this is a moment where I'm like, all right. And the same thing with Dimitri, right? I brought them all in, and I go, Benji, this is his player's name. I go, Benji, you mad at your teammate here for making it a little tough for you? He's like, no. I'm like, well, you sure look like it. You gave him a swat that. He's like, oh, no. Right? And I go, can I ask you a question? If that was another team and you're playing a game, do you think that person would have taken it easy on you? Like, no. I'm like, do you think that maybe what he did to challenge you is going to just make you a better player ultimately? Mm-hmm. And I go, so next time, don't get mad. You get up and you give him a tap on the shins and say, hey, thank you for challenging me, right? You guys should challenge yourselves every step of the way. Mm-hmm. And you should challenge your teammates, because the more you guys work, and again, I'm talking my oldest is playing Ravenwood, mm-hmm. and our neighbors across the street, this kid could be playing AAA, and he's playing for him. Like, Ian will figure out your speed. Mm-hmm. Do not take it easy on him. And he's like, I got it. I got you.
Cool.
Right? But same thing with our boys. And this, I think I told you, John came home the first week, and he's like, Dimitri plays very physical. I'm like, good. Fucking great, dude, because I want you to play physical, and I think he did have a physical weekend, and that stood out to me. But here, back to your question.
TikTok.
I mean, we're at the phase where they're going to want to make highlight reels, right?
It's happening.
Yeah, here.
How do you deal with that?
If they want to make highlight reels, then do something fantastic, right? And here.
See, I'm gonna step in a little bit here. Making highlight reels, as long as they love the game.
Yeah. If they're having fun,
that's
right?
Cool.
It's engaging, as long as it's not distracting us, right? Which it shouldn't, right? Because they're not gonna be doing during practice.
Or demeaning another player on their team. That's when you go, right. No. But if your kid does the dangles all over the place and scores, hey, guess what? I'm popping that on YouTube, man. I mean. And you go in Live Barn and pop it out, and hey, I'm doing this, and like, this is how you score a goal.
Now, is your concern the element of like, showboating to where they're not playing the game, essentially.
No, I mean, I don't really have a concern one way or the other. I just think it's a different era, and to connect with some of the kids, you might have to have some angle. That might be a button, and I don't know.
Yeah, no. So
Actually, no, it's
again,
a great idea.
It's
because the kids aren't the same as we grew up. Let's
Right.
be honest.
Right.
And they look for people. You know, once you get to the older level, they're really concerned about that. And we've talked to, Brock. He played some college ball and stuff. It just kind of started then, but now it's just ubiquitous.
My
It's
daughter is going to
everywhere.
college for media design, media arts. So everything is TikTok. Everything is. I mean, look at us. We're doing a podcast, for God's sakes. We're on TikTok.
And follow us on TikTok. Yeah.
And Spotify. Okay, but there it is. He's getting it up there. But it's true. Everything is about TikTok and the new media, and my daughter is doing that. And I have friends of mine that kids are in high school baseball.
Yeah.
And what do? They TikTok. And a lot of colleges, we said this earlier, a lot of colleges will look and follow your social media. If you have a ton of people hitting you, that college wants you.
I thought about putting a YouTube channel together. Having 3 kids, having 3 kids in hockey, coaching all 3 of them, it just really. And then I have my own business now. I've started my own business in December of 23.
Nice.
Haven't looked back. I'm super happy about that decision. But there's a lot, right? And so I like sourcing material, right? So this Sean Walker guy, to kind of he's a good, and a lot of the stuff that he says is not just the drills. He's talking about the effort, right?
Did you ever see the one when he says, "This is a AA player"?
100%.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Walker from iTrain Hockey. Typically,
He's
when
great.
we're crossing into a deke, I
Yeah.
want
And he goes, "What's a AAA hockey?"
To get around you,
Yeah.
the defenseman, and head to this way as you approach the player.
He had a
You're
camp
gonna
here.
This way,
He did.
and then
He
I'm
was in
gonna
Clarksville.
over.
Clarksville, yeah.
I
to go
honestly
in this direction. But now what we're gonna do is
looked
just add
to
in a
see
second layer.
if he was going to be here again this year, because if he was, I wanted to get him out to the Wednesday skates.
Oh, this guy is outstanding.
He is. He's like a better looking version of me. I'm just going to say.
I would say, you know what? Don't sell yourself short.
My mother always said I had a face for radio.
There you go. That's why we're here right now.
That's right. You know what? I just, I don't actually follow him. I don't think there's an actual any of his that I'm actually liking, but I just, because of the content and because I've watched it enough, it gets served up to me on Facebook.
And he's great.
YouTube. He really is.
He's one of the better ones that you watch. And because, again, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, he's popping up. I follow him.
He talks that there's technique involved in what he's saying, but so it's funny you brought up the thing about the single A and triple A and double A, right? That Saturday that we had our practice, and when I said it was the first time I was in the locker room getting ready with the boys, and then Kayla came in, of course, I wrote down on my dry erase board 1A, then 2As, then 3As. And I went back to that same rhetorical question. Where are we right now? I was like, going like this. Right here, right? I just pointed to the single A. Like, yeah. I'm like, who wants to be here? And I tapped on the double A, and everyone in the locker room was like this. Okay. If you want to go from here to here, you have to give me this effort. And it's not for me, it's because of what you want, right? Because you don't have to be this to give that effort, right? Again, goes back to that work ethic, that do you have to be good at it to work hard, right? And so, here, again, back to your, now are you asking if I want to put something together in terms of highlights or,
I'm just curious as to how you relate to kids now.
I'm a
You
kid at
ignore
heart.
it, or you have some
You have to embrace it now.
22-year-old
You
that can
have to.
handle it for them, or
Well, yeah.
or as far as video, like, is it worth looking at live barn stuff and going through and
That's funny you even said it. What about the other day when we were at my house?
Yeah.
Right? What did I put on
Yeah.
TV? I
Yeah.
put the game on.
Yes.
You can see what kids wanted to watch and
Yeah.
what kids didn't want to watch.
Yeah.
My kid's not a watcher.
My kid wouldn't either.
He
He
doesn't
probably
li-
watch for a little bit, but then
He don't want to watch because he doesn't know. He goes, "Oh, I made a mistake. I don't want Dad yelling at me."
Yeah.
I won't yell at him anymore. I can care less now.
Yeah.
I'm at that point right now. I'm done. But you can look at that. There's pictures that there's like 7 kids out there just watching that game. And honestly, to me, you learn a lot as a player
yeah.
if you watch yourself playing. You watch what you. Oh wow, I missed that. Wow, what happened?
Right.
And it's a. I mean, that's another thing is too when I talk about baseball IQ and hockey IQ. Kids don't watch the game anymore because you know what? It's almost boring to them when they watch it sometimes, or they'll watch it for a little bit and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing? The TikTok." You know, their mind is elsewhere.
You know, I think so. One of the ways that I've related in a very almost somewhat comical way. I think John, again, I'm comparing him to my 3, has significant hockey IQ over the other 2.
He's
Okay?
good. He's a good player.
But I think, and this is going to sound hilarious, but I think a lot of it came from him and I play NHL together.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
Video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as cliche or ridiculous as it might sound, his IQ, I noticed the season that we started playing was 2 years ago. All of a sudden, the shit that he's doing on the ice and his awareness. Like, one of the things that I love about that kid's game is he's got his fucking head up the whole time.
Yeah.
He's looking to make a play. He's looking to do something. He's got to have, and it's a hard thing because we got some kids that scare their head down stuff, right?
Until next year when the hitting comes.
Yeah,
I've already had that conversation with D. You see, when you're playing defense and you see a kid come across the line with his head down, you go fire at him.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so, again, it's one of the things that I would say that I almost encourage them to play some NHL because that will develop their hockey IQ, right?
Well, it's even with the MLB baseball.
Yeah.
Like, I always tell kids, go play baseball. Play a video game baseball. And it's what's really cool, like, and again, I'm going to brag a little bit on my son here about baseball. He's a pitcher. And he used to sit with me when he was 8 years old watching the Brewers versus the Pirates during playoff hockey. And I'm like, wait a second here.
What?
And he would want to go, Dad, I want to watch baseball. I'm like, what? It's playoff hockey, for God's sakes. All right. And he'd sit next to me and go, I throw a curveball here. I throw a fastball here. I'm like, what? And that was the things that he started. And like right now, he is a pitcher.
Yeah.
He's not a hard thrower. He's a good thrower, and he keeps people off balance.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, the video game. So all he does is play the MLB Network, and he's like, I'm pitching. He don't even want to bat. He just pitches.
Yeah.
But it's true. That is baseball IQ. That is hockey IQ. When you played Madden football, I learned a ton from Madden football, right? I mean,
you don't know scheming unless you play football video games.
Exactly.
I remember college football back in like the 2000s.
I'm older than that, man.
And you were playing Techno Bowl.
Dude, I was playing the old Atari with the 3 guys would go, the guy would be run, or even before that, Blades of Steel. Let the pass.
I remember that one.
Let the pass. That was
Blades
good
of Steel.
There you go. All right, what's kind of cool though, you said you have your kids. There's 2 things that popped into my mind that you did talk about before. I want to talk about what you said to me earlier. You said, hey, after every game, I call my dad home.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Explain that to me.
My dad is still a little sour with me because I took his grandkids and hockey away from him.
All right.
That's what I did. I took hockey and his grandkids away from him. And I don't know which order.
Tell him to move
Come down here. It's way
Trust me,
better down here.
So I've had conversations with him. I have a brother who lives in Colorado, and I told him, like, listen, because he's younger, he's just getting, like, he's just moving with this girl. He's a firefighter, paramedic. There's out of 5 of us, 5 boys.
5
of us. Every one of us had an ambition to be a firefighter, paramedic at one point.
Wow, he did.
My dad finally got his youngest son did foul, but then he fucking left. Right? He's doing the same thing. I don't know. You guys remember? It's actually, they pronounce it Louisville. It's the same spelling as Louisville, right? In Colorado a couple years ago when they had all those fires, right? That's the town he's actually a firefighter.
wow.
Yeah. Now he wasn't. He was
moved there because he knows the fires are very kindly over there.
He's like, they need help. So kind of cute, I guess. The girl he's with, who they literally just moved in together. She's a nurse at the hospital he was bringing people to, right?
He's
So
bringing everybody to him. Like, I'm not hurt. I want to meet this girl. Shut up. Come on with me.
but I told and now not to get too deep into this is my dad and my stepma, and so this is my half brother. Even though he's my brother, I mean he's my brother, right? But my stepma has never, she's still grandma. Like, and as far as my kids go, she's still grandma, but she's never held her own blood as an infant child. And so I told them, even the most recent time I was home, like, I don't give a fuck. You guys don't need to move. Of course, I could be selfish and say, I want you to move to Tennessee.
Yeah.
But don't stay here. I'm like, go to Colorado. If they're staying there, go to Colorado. Right? Give me an excuse to go there.
Yeah.
Right?
That's selfish too, but what am I saying?
Right. But, so yeah, he gets a little, he hasn't brought it up like that recently, but he does throw some jabs every once in a while, like
family's everything, man.
He's got that right. But he was a hockey guy growing up. We didn't have the best relationship growing up. Some fireworks at the house. Okay. Pretty regularly, actually.
Well, 5 boys, my God. Let's be honest.
Usually, I was that middle child, especially early on. So it was a lot between him and I. And quite honestly, I think him and I probably have the better relationship now out of all of them. Okay. A little ironic, but
hey, that usually happens when you get old,
right? Yeah. And so I definitely miss being home to, being with my parents, being around my dad, because they were hop, skipping, they're 15 minutes from our house. So, one of the smartest investments he made is he got this above ground pool. It's nothing glamorous, but it worked. My kids loved it, right?
Awesome.
So we would just
hang out at the grandpa and pop's house.
Throw some burgers on the grill and, whatever, right? So, but he gets a little offended when I go an hour plus without actually calling him, because usually he gets that call.
Is he watching the game on Live Barn?
He's watching on Live Barn. So he's
that's like your car ride home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's that's right. He's everything I did wrong as a coach that day. No, it's not that bad.
You suck.
Yeah.
How do you think you did?
It's like you're lying. She said, "How could you get that what with the too many men penalty?" Right? Actually, it wasn't. It was the defensive door.
She blamed me. Hey, listen, I just want to cut him off real quick. There was a really, really bad defensive change in the first game we had. It was against the team we just lost to the first game, and one was my son. I'm going, what did you do? Both defensemen decided to go to the bench when the guy's on a breakaway. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm blaming you for that.
Yeah, it's my fault for sure.
There you go.
It's funny. 2 years ago or last year, being James' assistant coach. It was always the funny thing going into that season, because I've been with the 2014 birth year since being down here. Mm-hmm. And so going into last season, I was always like, James, so are you going to be my assistant coach? He's like, no, Shawn, you could be mine. Right? But so Thomas, who is no longer with us, he's still alive for the record, but he's moved on to hopefully greener pastures. Don't get me started. Sorry.
Okay. We don't go there.
I'm upset with Thomas.
Let's get back to your dad.
We would rotate. Like we would never move. So whatever door we were at,
so you're offense or defense?
So I worked offense, twice, 2 periods, and then defense 1 period. Okay. Right. So it was kind of cool like that. And I got to catch myself, because I have gone down a couple times by Riz, because I went like, hey, dude, you got to gap up, right? I'm like, listen, you got to hold that line. And I'm just like, all right, Shawn, shut up. Let these guys do their thing.
Did you play defense or forward?
Forward, but I coach much more towards D, right? I think that you need to have, and when I say that, I really like when we have defensive players that quarterback the game, right? But it's there's got to be a situation. Are you telling me? I don't know.
No. I got to hit you here.
It's got to be a situational awareness thing, right? Because there was a couple times where we had a player during the game, maybe even yesterday, where we're up, right? We don't need to score goals. No. So you shouldn't be trying to be creative as a defenseman to get around people.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier about hockey IQ.
Yeah.
You got to know the situation.
100%.
And that's what it is the situation. And everyone's like, oh, let me score a goal. The empty net is the biggest, the worst thing that can happen to a team. because everybody, I'm scoring the empty net goal. That's it. And everyone just rushes down. And you go, oh, crap, guys, we're down by a goal.
Yeah.
No, protect your zone.
Right.
Protect. That's it. Don't let them shoot. That's exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not. So I don't want to go in like, full protection mode. Like I don't want to protect the lead. Like I want to be aggressive. But when you have, this particular instance, we had our quote unquote best line out on the ice, our top 4 line, and you got a defenseman trying to get around players, and twice it went back the other way, right? And some of that I think is maybe not necessarily the player, but maybe a parent encouraging on some of that too, which I've caught
again. It is you got to know the situation, and you have to know if you're here, and if you try to take it up and get it. Listen, we had the same scenario last year. We were in Evansville. We were up by 2 goals. No, 2 goals. We were up by 2 goals, 1:10. And the person that decides to take it up. Take it away, goal. Less than 10 seconds left, goal. We ended up tying.
We've
so you have to know situations. And again, that's you learn that over experience.
You should.
Yeah.
Again, this is where, sometimes I caution parents. Greg, do you remember the question that I asked about monetary compensation for your?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And somebody admitted to it, but have you ever told your child that you'll give them money for a goal?
God,
and I think there were a
that.
couple hands that went out, but
they really
it was
did.
good for you
It's
to bring that out and be
Yeah.
like, hey, this is why that's not a good idea.
Right. It's an awful idea.
It completely takes away from what I'm trying to do with these kids.
Yeah.
Right. We have an issue on our team.
I'm sorry. That bothers me. when I hear
Well,
that.
you said pay him for assists.
Well, I didn't even say assists. I said
plus minus.
Plus minus.
Plus minus.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you want to compensate your kid,
They're going to
plus
pay
minus.
attention to the whole game.
Yes.
That's not gonna
Now you
do-
got to
don't do
focus.
it.
Then I asked them, like, does anyone know what that is that isn't a hockey person, right? They're like,
You get a plus and then a minus, huh?
It's funny because I've run into that, right? Yeah. And I know that exists.
Oh yeah, it does.
And it's funny because Sean Walker, I remember there's a specific video that I watched. He said you should be excited, just as excited. He started. It was a rhetorical question. How many points for a goal? 1.
I know this one. This is good.
How many points for assist? 1. Right. So they counter each other, right? So 1. I know I held up 2, but 1 goal for 1 point for a goal, 1 point for an assist. He goes, you should be just as excited to call grandma to tell her about the 3 assists you got as you are the 3 goals.
Yep.
Right. And so I'll say that I love just these fantastic rushes and then this tape to tape pass right in the slot. And then some kid just buries it because it's right in the right spot. But the kid that did the goal that we scored today, I think it may have been one of the earlier game. There was a goal that was scored. JT scored it from point. It was the first game, and I told the kids in the locker room that this is a true dynamic with the game as it relates to forecheck, right, and being relentless on the puck. You may not make contact with that player. You may not make contact with the puck itself. But if you take away that time and space and force that player to make a decision quicker than they want to,
He's going to make a mistake.
It's going to go. So David, we call him Saucy. I don't know if you knew that was his nickname. Okay, so his nickname has been it was Hot Saucy, evolved to Saucy. David, he 100% was the reason that they scored that.
Oh,
goal.
he was He was all over the ice,
and he probably wasn't on the score sheet at all for that goal. But I'll tell you right now, that goal doesn't happen if he's not working his ass off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so those are the intangibles that I want the kids. So back to your points about the watching and the videos, that's something that you could bring into a TV.
I was always an advocate of having a film study.
We're going to be doing that with the
Film studies is a good thing, good learning experience. But again, to get everybody there to do it in a time frame, to even get a place to do it.
Small groups, there's probably better than doing the full team, to be honest.
Breaking up defense,
and
then forwards,
and and it could be, because and Greg, you probably, we have a lot of younger kids on our team that there's some kids that are playing travel for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a learning curve here. That's like, all right, what is a winger? Like here, John was having a difficult time because he was playing left wing today. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's partially on me and even maybe James, because we had that kid pigeonholed at center the entire season last year and the entire season the year before. Mm-hmm. And so he knows center, and that's it.
He's got to adapt,
100%, right? So, but adapting in the middle of a game,
it's difficult.
It's tough, right? Yeah. So he was chasing a little bit, right? And but this is one of those things where I'm like, all right, I may need to bring our kids into a room. We'll probably use that room back there to show some video and talk. And honestly, I may even bring a PlayStation 5 and just show them on a video game.
It's not a bad idea. I mean,
you see those commercials, State Farm with Andy Reid. He's got this big board, and it's a big TV, but you can draw on it and stuff. It's like, that would be really cool.
It does. It does work with a lot of these kids here, and they love videos. They love video games.
Right.
If you show, I think also too, it's you can't make it too long for them because they will start getting bored and they get But I know me, when I always learn stuff growing up, I always wanted to watch and learn, and kids learn that way. You get this 3 ways of learning, and I don't care how old or young you are. Is hands-on.
Yeah.
There's visual. And the other one is doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Doing it yourself. So, the kid may learn on the ice better than watching it happen.
Well, and that's so, when you brought up about the app, right? I like the idea, but the reality of it is, for me, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of kids focused. But if you get a couple,
one, you get one, and that's as me as a coach. I always say, if I work one kid and one kid gets better that day, that I'm successful as a coach. Well, I'm not saying you're successful or not successful, but any avenue, any value, or any tool to make someone just one kid.
Yeah.
9 kids can say, I'm bored out of my mind.
Right.
I'm not watching that. But that one kid, he's going to sit there like this. Oh, yeah, I know that drill. And I mean, tell you, it's like he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Well, and so you brought up visual, right? Mm-hmm. I am a visual learner. Mm-hmm. So I tend to be a visual teacher as well, because I feel like, okay, I still show it on the dry erase board. We still talk about it. And sometimes I'll actually even act it out in the locker room or in the little space that we have, right? But I talk about what I'm looking for more specifically, right? Again, tell them till I'm blue in the face, a couple of drills. I don't care about what you do. It's what you do afterwards, right? Like that follow through, right? But kind of going back to your, leveraging of TikTok or other social, platforms, I feel monotony in any practice environment is detrimental, right? Mm-hmm. If you do the same thing over and over again, it's kind of funny because we've been doing this W drill, but I've got a progression where we weren't even doing it with pucks up until recently. I introduced another round with pucks, right? So I was just having them do the skating part of it, and we were getting ready for practice on Thursday, and the kids were like, "Are we doing the W drill?" I'm like, "We're not." They're like, "What?" And you know why? Because if we do it over and over and over again, then they just go through it for the
motions.
Yeah, just the motion. Now I will say that W drill, their skating, the way it looks is significantly better than what it was even day one, which is not that long ago. So I'm already seeing.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of a little concerned about our team scrimmaging your team. You guys are big. We're a little team.
I don't think we're gonna probably split them up. Todd and I talked about it again today. We've talked about it a couple of times. To your point, there's some kids that are some big boys.
Yeah, but you know what though? I'm okay with them playing against big boys.
Right.
I really am. I really am okay with the team, but I'm like going, there's some big boys.
Yes.
Well, that's what middle school's all about.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
they've
true.
played
Middle
with
school.
people that are 4 years older than them already.
It is
and
true. He's right.
Kind of
Right.
just adjust your, like if you shelter them too much, then they'll be like, oh.
But middle school, they're not checking though either.
Well, they're probably not going to check in the scrimmage. are they?
D got leveled like 2 years ago. You remember that video?
Yeah.
He was. They put him at center. I put him at center.
Yeah.
He's skating up the ice. The kid leveled him.
Oh,
He had a
jeez.
concussion, but he was looking funny. I got one more question before we wrap it up here
Yeah.
today. One question too. I know you have 3 kids, and you have a daughter
Yes.
that plays hockey.
She does.
I know. And let me ask you, as a daughter being hockey and a coach and being around the situation, is there a time for you to say to your daughter, Kyla, you're doing great. You're at this point right now. You're playing co-ed hockey. Let's push you to girls hockey. When is that decision? Because it is coming down the pipe, and as
It
well as I do.
almost did this year. It almost did this season.
Because
So-
there was a girl today that beat up one of our kids.
I
It
was
was
there. I
great.
saw that.
I loved it. This girl was
I
mean
just
and nasty.
complimented her too.
Oh my
I
gosh, she
said
was
it to-
great.
I said it to Todd. I'm like, I love how physical she plays.
And punching, full-fledged punching.
Yeah. She got the gate.
Yeah, she got the gate, and she was throwing, and I was like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was like, so my wife. It's funny. My wife brought it up. Actually, when we got home, we were talking about it. She brought up that kid, the girl, and now Kayla does not play with that tenacity. There's part of me that wishes she did.
Okay, we all wish our kids have a little something.
Sure. But I think that my wife has this perception, which maybe she's not wrong, that some of the girls feel like they can almost get away with doing that. Right.
Yeah.
Now, I told her, listen, if I had to pick one evil or the other, I'd take that kid on my team any day.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Right? Because I can tame that, right? I can use that and leverage that energy.
I always say you can tame a lion, you can't make a
Yeah,
lion.
that's like being a warrior in a garden instead of a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
You want to have that wild tendency, but then learn how to control it and only
Bingo.
apply it when necessary.
Bingo.
So, with Kayla, we were, sorry here, again, without naming club names, we started where Dimitri started. I think you knew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't finish the season. Okay.
Okay.
We had a very good, very equipped skills coach that forgot how to coach. And we went from taking girls who should be in a developmental phase and trying to teach them breakouts before they know how to hold a fucking hockey stick. And that's not a joke. Like, you're literally trying to teach these kids how to do a breakout, and some of them can't fucking skate.
Yeah.
Okay. And the problem we have with the other clubs that we won't name is they're too concerned with what mom and dad are thinking and the perception of what we're doing on the ice versus what the kids actually fucking need.
Yeah.
And there's a big problem with that down here. Big problem. And it pains me, right? It's a painful thing for me to watch because for me, if you're going to put the kids first, right, you're going to put development first.
Yeah.
And that's going to supersede anything, right? They don't need to win hockey games. They need to learn how
Develop to play the game.
to the
Intangibles.
skills.
Hey, I got to hold the hockey stick
Right.
a certain way.
So we did not stay there the entire season. We didn't last the whole season because it was bad. And the two girls teams, the all girls teams that they had, they dissolved.
Yeah.
All but 2 girls left, and then we got this dog and pony show from the other club. And I can show you 3 unanswered, because I was the assistant coach on that team. I can show you 3 unanswered texts asking for me to do dry land with these kids. And they have the space to do it. 3 unanswered texts saying, hey, can we work on this? Can we work on how to hold a hockey stick? Can we work on passing and the shooting? Yeah. And again, so it was a better experience, but also not. She hated it. So Kayla hated hockey the first, and I thought we lost. We thought we
I
thought we
remember
lost her.
we talked about it last year, and when you told me she's back, I'm like, oh, great,
Yeah.
super.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, and you know this as well as I do, and it's not a sexist thing or not a sexist thing. That girl today, physical, mean,
Yeah.
nasty. friend of mine, when we were coaching up in New York, he still coaches up there. He goes, I would take a girl on my team at this age, the 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
After that, I wouldn't do it because, unfortunately, boys start hitting puberty.
Yeah.
And they become bigger, stronger, and faster. And so there's a time, I mean, again, this is nothing against, girls, boys, whoever, but it is physically almost impossible when they get to a certain age.
I would say 16U 100%, right? 14U.
It's pushing it because you have so much differential with kids.
But if she was playing AA, I'd be a little more nervous.
Yeah.
And even at an A1 or A2 level, you could still have, my big concern as a dad or a coach who has a girl on his team at that age is the reality of having a knucklehead kid out there that just wants to smoke that kid because she's a girl.
100%
right. And that's and so I'm telling myself multiple times that it is going to happen, so I can mentally prepare myself to not fucking lose my shit.
Yeah, and you're a dad.
Right.
I know me personally, I would go bananas.
Well, but I got to remember, I've got 15, we have fucking 16 other kids on the bench, right? Yeah. And I got to make sure that I'm remembering that they matter too.
And that's where we go back to the question I asked you before, as a dad coach, when it's so hard
again, we almost did Wolverines. Ethan Burrow, I think, does a fantastic job.
Superstar. I love him.
Right,
Good
every
dude.
guy that I know that has a daughter in hockey loves this dude. Right,
he's great. He's a good. I mean, kids love him too.
And
he's
so
great.
she was doing a couple of the practices over the summer, and then I had to reach out to my Ethan. We had a bit of a problem. I'm like, Kayla decided, and literally I registered Kayla for tryouts. I think we started on Monday. Okay. I registered on the Sunday prior. Oh, wow. But James knew it was coming, right? He knew it was coming. And now I will say this. I've been my boys' head coach multiple years, right? John, since being down here the first couple of years. Ian, before we left, his first and second year at 10U. I thought that ship had sailed with my daughter. I didn't think we were going to get the opportunity.
Well, like you said last year, you're like, she's done.
Yeah.
She's done.
So I'm thrilled that she's part of it. And I will say, she's definitely not the smallest kid on the team.
No.
By a long shot. She's actually probably one of our bigger kids. And she's good with using her body, So I think, and again, I want a Dimitri out there, right? I don't want someone leveling anyone, but I definitely want someone out there that's making things a little more
tougher
for them.
He's gritty.
Yes,
gritty. He's gonna bring him lunch pail. Lunch pail.
So I mean,
he ain't too smart, but he'll go and hit you.
am I concerned? So Ian, when he was a 14U, the first year with Coach Dave Campbell, first year with Coach Dave Campbell, we had a kid, Jess Evans, who was his teammate for the first 2 years as Flyers. There was and I love this about my kid too. There was an open ice hit. It was at Gary Force of all places, and Jess she got the brunt of it, right? And she came back to the bench, and you could see she was swelling up a little bit, right? And what I love about that is this was a Knoxville team. I think it was whatever Knoxville was before they became
Knoxville Bears. Or something like that.
And this team was in our division smoking everybody by like 10 goals a game. Everyone. Like I don't understand why they
wasn't that Memphis team that just kicked the crap out of everybody. Right?
Sometimes people get misclassified.
Yeah, no, they were definitely not in the right division. But my favorite thing that happened is we lost that game 10-1, and the only goal that was scored was in the third period, and Jess did it.
Nice.
I loved it. Right.
Nice.
So and Jess is she's a lot smaller than Kayla. Kayla's a bigger kid. She's like 5'6", 5'7". Yeah, so if something happens, hopefully it's just not catastrophic, of course, but I mean, it can happen to any of them.
It can absolutely. It's going to happen. I just think it's one more year.
100%. Like she's not.
You have to. And if she may hang them up, she may hang them up. You know,
and that's fine because then we got to experience it, and she's seen all these things that I've done with the teams. We've had parties at our house with the entire team. We do these events.
That's what it's about. No one cares about the game. Even the games that we go on the road and we're like, hey, what was the score of that game in the second tournament in Knoxville? I don't know, but we played shinny in the hallway.
100%.
We got in trouble by the lady because we're so loud.
No, I mean, and I agree with you. Those are the things that, and this is why this is my message to our 14U team. And this is my message to every team that I coach is there's not a coach that you're going to have that wants to have more fun than I do.
Yeah.
I love
I told you, I'm going to start that, reiterate what we talked about in the first segment here.
Yeah.
Is I know people that know you that have coached them, and they said, you know what? Is he the great coach? He's a good coach. But it doesn't matter because all he cares about is the kids, and that is your staple, right?
Well, I hope I'm a pretty good coach too.
Maybe.
I think I'm pretty good at what I do.
No, but you said you're a good coach. That's all I care. And me as a parent, my kid's having fun.
Yeah,
and you care about the kids. You don't really care about the end result. I mean, it's great. We win or lose.
Well, no,
who cares?
I don't care I care about the end result. I don't care about the wins and losses.
Correct. You
right?
want to be competitive,
Right.
and you want the kids to grow.
I want them, like, in here, what I'll tell you is the way I coach and I put development first, there are kids that are playing in Chicago Mission, Chicago Fury, that I gave them a foundation because of how, again, the fun factor, the love of the game, but also the skill development is huge.
And that's
right?
great. And those are great organizations up there in Chicago. That's top tiers of AAA.
TI, Team Illinois.
Yeah, Team Illinois is as a matter of fact, that other team ended up playing. Team Illinois just lost 7-8 against them.
Okay.
And again, Team Illinois is one of the top teams in the whole my hockey rankings. They're always top 10.
They always usually there's some teams up there in Chicago that are
just
really
the
good.
Reapers.
Reapers. Actually, one of the kids that I did coach went to Reapers. I don't know where he came from. I think he was at AA before, but went to Reapers recently. And again, these are kids that started when we in
a tripod. It's getting like this, and you see these kids get better and better.
And I think my favorite, one of the favorite things that I've ever I talk about is there's a kid named Guy Sinello. My first year as a head coach. Ian was a 10U, first year 10U. And goes back to what I said, 100% retention, right? We won everything. And it was crazy because it was the second, it was the third to last game we were losing by a goal. And we had to put a third person out a sixth attacker out on the ice when we pulled the goalie. And I had asked the guy who was my assistant coach, I'm like, who do you think? And he looks down, he points at my son Ian, and we scored. Ian scored with point something seconds left. We tied that game. Gets us to the semifinal. Because we win that game, we end up in the championship where the other team that we tied did not.
Oh wow!
And then so we end up winning the championship game, and the kids they're beyond themselves, right? It's the Stanley Cup. They just won the Stanley Cup, right? And it was a big deal. It was fun. I was a big deal because a lot of them, this is the first time they're playing travel, right? And my first year as a head coach. And I remember we were in the locker room. Everyone's having a blast. The music's going. And now things are kind of settling down. It's been about 20 minutes and things are settling down. And this guy's just sitting there. He's like this, just sitting. And he goes, "Hey, coach." I look over. I go, "What's up, bud? What's wrong?" He's like, "I don't want it to end."
Yep.
And that shit hit me hard.
That's perfect, man.
So that's kind of what I want every season,
That's emotion right there. That's I love it. I love to even hear that come out of your mouth.
When he said that, I really had to catch myself from
tear up.
Tear
up, man. Listen, coaching is emotional.
Yeah.
It's an emotional game, even hockey, basketball, badminton, whatever. And then your last game, it really puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
And my retirement of baseball, I am emotional. I put everything I have in a game. I put everything I have in practices. I put everything out there on the line. And when it's over, man, I can tear up right now talking to you how much emotion it is because you bust your ass and you love the game. So you and people always say, you put your emotions on your sleeve. And listen, I don't, people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." I'm like, I don't care. This is who I am. These kids will learn these things. And so what if I cry? Oh, I cry all the time. I can care less. My buddies will laugh. "You're crying again?" Damn right I am. I don't care. But I want to say first thing, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coaching our kids. Thank you for putting the time and effort of you doing what you're doing, because you don't have to do that. But you know what? You love it. And you have it in you, just like I love coaching baseball, just like he coaches soccer. We put the time and effort because it's a great thing. Not to say, and I always say it's the toughest thing is to coach my own son. But I love coaching other kids. Just because you just want to see them grow and get that name. You know, and the coolest thing is, hey, coach.
It's my favorite.
it.
You know, to your point, like what I love is when we're with the 14s and I'm getting off the ice, right? Because it's later, right? As you know, you get the younger kids that go early, later the older they are, right? And so there's a bunch of kids that are on Rippy's team now that I coached last year that are usually getting on the ice.
Hey, coach.
Hey, coach. Hey, coach.
Yeah.
Right. And
cool.
Rippy, I've already shared a couple of drills with him that he's like, I'm like, this is a Rippy drill for sure. And there's some conditioning elements, so he likes it a lot.
Nice.
But you know, I love that. Like even, you know, back home when you're at a grocery store.
Hey, coach.
You hear hey, coach. Like you turn around like,
because you know what? Those kids will always remember you.
Yeah.
I remember all my coaches growing up. I really do.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Loved them. Greg, I know we always do a get off my lawn thing at the end of this. Did we think we'd do anything?
I mean, we're at 2 hours here. This is a lengthy one.
Wow,
But
this is a
I've got
good
a
one.
couple
We're
of
going to have to edit
ideas that
some
we
of
could,
this out.
Yeah, it's all right.
we'll wrap it up here, but we're
2
gonna,
hours. See, this is what it's about. We just go through it. Next thing you know, we're like, holy cow, 2 hours, because it's just fun.
There's probably a lot of shit that I didn't even answer with the questions that you actually asked.
But this is
we
what
could go another hour, but we're not.
Yeah,
we're not.
we can get you back on for another episode.
Season 3.
So this is lightning round type stuff here. Well, what happened to the Blackhawks?
Oh,
What happened?
boy.
I remember back in 2017, it was the greatest time to ever be a Predator fan.
Ugh.
We swept them in the first round. We were the 16th
they haven't been
seed,
back to
and
the
then
playoffs
nothing
since.
is. What happened?
Well, you know, there's the rebuild that's going on. You know, you hear a lot about Connor Bedard and, you know, how he's going to be, you know.
Soft as baby shit.
right.
Sorry, I said
Bedard.
Bedard.
Yeah, you got Bedard. But you know what the thing is, and I'm going to go back to this. You got Bedard, right?
Yeah.
We were there during the draft when he got drafted here in Nashville.
Yeah.
D got his autograph. It was great. We had so much fun time. Steve Wood kid, we were hanging out. He was like, yeah, I got Bedard's email, autograph. It was great. We had such a thing as, but he's soft.
Yeah.
You know, the old Chicago Blackhawks in my eyes, and you know what the funny thing is? You know what my son's favorite hockey player is?
Who's that?
He's number 24.
Well, you know, it's funny. He wears 24, doesn't he?
Exactly.
So I asked him, this is funny that you brought that up. I was not expecting him to answer.
Nobody does.
Was not expecting. So I asked him, I'm like, you know who was number 24, right? He's like, Bob Probert. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? I didn't
It's
say
his
that,
favorite
of course,
hockey
but
player.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, but okay.
Well, I didn't let him watch the Probert thing yet.
Wow.
But he always watched YouTube videos of Bob Probert. And I'm like,
Ty
buddy.
Domi and Probert videos are some of the best.
Yeah, and he's like, can I do? No, you can't do that yet. You know, I said, but you can be physical. But yeah, Bob Probert, he wears 24 because of Bob Probert, and it's great because guys like you and you know, it's funny because I didn't talk to our coaches or anything like that, but I can guarantee if you tell them he wears 24 for who, they're gonna be like, "Are you kidding me?"
I think Todd was with me when this was going. I think that actually it was all of us.
Oh, really?
All the coaches got you know, we caught on pretty quick. And it was funny because I asked him, and I was again had zero expectation he was going to spit out that name.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Yep, that's his favorite hockey player.
Well, what's wrong with Bedard though? You got to answer
He's
this.
soft.
He's got 23 goals. He started taking off a little bit second half of the season, but is he a disappointment or is he just a work in progress?
I think it's a work in progress. You know, he's not Patrick Kane, right?
No.
Like I look at Kane and he's like I couldn't believe Kane wasn't in the what did they do the Four Nations thing?
Yeah.
I don't understand why the fucking U.S. team didn't have him on that roster.
He's.
You gonna tell me he's too old?
I was gonna say he's a little
No.
long in the tooth.
No.
He's a little long in the tooth.
This guy is still dynamic as hell. He still has the sickest hands, the
But-
best passes.
Me personally, if what I would see Kane or Kachuk brothers, I'm old school. I want to see the Kachuk brothers going out there.
I say why not both or all three? For that matter.
but they are. He's gotten there. He's a little long in the tooth right now.
He is, but you know what? He's playing more of a two-way game than he did earlier on in his career.
He
I think.
has to.
Well, but you're asking a question about Bedard.
Yeah.
Or is he failing? I don't know if he's necessarily failing yet. This
He's got no support system.
100%, right? That's an issue, right? There's a lot of pressure on a guy.
Yeah.
You're being told that
You're the savior of that team.
You're the next coming of
Crosby or something. No, okay.
But it's a lot for an 18-year-old kid to take in. And, if you look at it, and I see and all these headlines of these different, elite players in our league, like Nathan McKinnon talking about, Bedard and where he's at and what he's like, dude, this guy's way ahead of where I was the first 2 years, And I think a lot of people get caught up in his slump that he had a little bit, right? But to your point, that team didn't really have much.
Nobody.
Right?
Nobody.
And one of the things that I told our boys today before the game is everybody matters. Mm-hmm. Okay? You got to do you and be your best. And that's the thing that I always tell the kids, like, I'm never going to expect you to be the best player on the ice, but I'm going to ask you to be your best player. I want you to be your best. And if you're at your best and you're giving it your all, I'm never going to get mad at you for it, mm-hmm. right?
Mm-hmm. Nope, we got a couple
more.
more. Here we go.
All right, this is a true get off my lawn. This is
don't even.
We got Corey Perry or Dino
guy.
Ciccarelli. Who's getting off your lawn? It's a hard choice, I guess.
Corey Perry's in my mind. He's not my favorite person.
There you go. So you want Corey off your lawn?
Yeah.
He's dirty.
I'm with him
dog.
too. I love Dino Ciccarelli. I call him Ciccarelli. That's old school. The guy was grit and nails. Perry. Let's be honest. The guy's been last 5 Stanley Cups, and he's a throwback.
Yeah,
he is a throwback. But
he was lighting it up a little bit for them.
He was.
But obviously, was definitely rooting against him.
Yeah, I always liked Dino Ciccarelli because I'm an old guy, so I always liked him. So,
yeah, but Yzerman and Fedorov.
Even before that, no, but that's just before the Yzerman and Fedorov.
Oh, yeah. Well, he played with him a little bit.
Yeah, he played, but that was just later.
Okay, this is a softball. This is Patrick Kane or Jonathan
And this
Toews.
is get off my lawn.
Get off your lawn.
Technically, but who's better, right?
Yeah, what?
The greatest.
That's like trying to choose your favorite movie and have them be from different genres, right? Like, it's really hard because, Jonathan Toews in his prime, this guy was like, you want him, he was a battler, right? Like, he was a guy who was going in the zone, getting low, and he was getting in the zone. Like, didn't matter how much body you were putting on the guy. He was just driving, right? And he was a very gritty center. Mm-hmm. Kane was just dynamic, He just was really fun to watch. But what's interesting, and I just saw this last season, Kane took the number 1 spot for most shootout goals.
Really? Okay.
Guess who he took it from? Toews. And so I often cite Toews in this example when talking to kids because the kids they all want to do this chop 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 chop. Jonathan Toews had 1 move in the fucking shootouts.
Really?
And he was number 1 up until last year, and he was removed from the league for 2.5 years by this time.
Yeah.
Right? And it was 1 move or literally just showing forehand, and, dude, he went 5-hole 95% of the time.
Really?
And and the goalies knew it. They knew he shot 5-hole. And this guy was still number 1 up until last season.
That's amazing.
So really difficult for me to put. I'm just gonna say,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna throw one more at you too. I'm gonna add this as being a goaltender in my life. And now remember, I pretty much know your answer because of
Belfour or Hasek.
That's exactly what I was gonna go for.
Again, 2 different style players.
Yeah.
Hasek.
Yeah, Hasek is hands down the best goalie of all time.
He that helmet though. I was just
but during that era, Eddie Belfour changed the game with the way he played the. I mean, that was something that I would play like.
Yeah.
I wanted my legs wide open like this, and people like, oh, you're going to 5-hole, bang, close it down.
Aces save today with the splits.
That was beautiful.
Holy shit, that was awesome.
That was beautiful. All right, we're going to do my last rant.
Oh,
here.
we're still going.
I got to do my rant.
You got school
This is
tomorrow.
I know, but this is my rant. We got to do it. We got the lights got to go. The music's got to go.
Oh.
This is one thing that I have just pissed about. I always have a rant every episode, and this one I thought for a while. And I said yes. Ready? We got to get it. There's the lights. There we got to start the lights going. Because in the music, we got to get our music rant. It'll be quick. It'll be a quick 5-minute.
Quick 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Real quick rant that I have, and I'm shutting the book right now on this. There's the music. Let's get it going. And my last rant, because usually it's first to get off my lawn studios. And there it is. We have this. My rant is the worst thing that's been pissing me off a lot. You go to a Mexican restaurant, right? Is this thing on? Is it still working here? Good. Mexican restaurant. I hate people who go ahead and order sizzling fajitas. Ooh. It is the most selfish fucking meal ever. So you know what? If I'm sitting at a Mexican restaurant and a sizzling fajita comes by, that person that ordered is the most selfish son of a bitch. It's like, look at me. I got sizzling fajita. This is what I ordered. Everybody, look, I got sizzling fajita. I got sizzling fajita. I walked by, you got sizzling fajita on the guy that walked by here. It's just, look at how great this is. Hey, everybody, I got sizzling fajita. You're a selfish bastard, and knock it off. Do not get a sizzling fajita. You know they're healthy and very good, but make sure you do not get a sizzling fajita when you're at a Mexican restaurant because you are a selfish son of a bitch.
I love sizzling fajitas.
They are great, but I'm done with them.
I didn't see that coming.
Especially with the sour cream and the guacamole.
Damn right, guys. I'm
I
sorry.
want to see you knock one off a table.
Yeah, damn right. I was pissed. Because we went on a boat the other day at a Mexican restaurant. We're all hanging out, and all of a sudden, I go, you damn well better not get a sizzling fajita. And all short enough, guy walks by, sizzling fajita, puts it down like, oh, great, you got a sizzling fajita, you selfish prick.
I just got really hungry.
Exactly. They are damn good, though. They are really good. And healthy. Healthy.
Yeah.
I'm on a health kick, as you can tell.
Yes.
I'm very good. I'm very good.
You've been working out.
I can tell.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Well, Sean, I want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
and this was a very good long, and like this is what it's about. We just sit down here.
I talk too much. I know that. My wife tells me all the time.
No, because you know why? It doesn't matter where you are right now. It's all about
where you end up.
It's the beer
league. Yeah. You can play beer league hockey. You play beer league baseball, softball. You play beer league pickup basketball, and it all ends in beer league. So it doesn't really matter how everything is, as long as you understand that your day, even pros that played in the pros, guess what they're playing right now? Beer league. So again, thank you so much, Sean, for coming on the show, taking the time. Thank you, wife, for letting you come out for this late because you had such a long day today. And you're like, and this moron decides to push the podcast back till 6 o'clock.
I thought that was a veteran move. Actually, I think it was good.
Guys, always pushing things back. I thought that was going to be.
That was close to a selfish move. I should have ordered a freaking sizzling fajita.
I'm down for some fajitas right now. I'm just gonna.
Well, this is going to be a great season. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, Sean. Yeah. And yeah.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you for coaching our kids. And as long as my kid smiles at the end of the day, that's all I give a shit about.
Awesome.
You know, and thank you very much. Appreciate everything. Now, thank you very much for our 12th episode, Beer League, on our Get Off Our Lawn Studios. Thank you very much out there,
Make
Podcast
sure you
Land.
follow us if you're still here on TikTok and Spotify. Good God, thank you very much.
There we go, bud. Take care. All right. Brother,